everybody's here. Roger.
It's 12 to get egg roll.
Tony's here. There's Larry. Okay. Angus is here.
Yeah, well,
I believe we're all, oh, there's Ben. Okay, good. We need Ben.
Not till page 15, you know.
All right, everybody. This is the life of King Henry VIII, and we have a cast of 12, believe it or not, to read, I don't know, 30 or 40 roles here. So let's introduce ourselves. I'm David Cedar. I will be reading the Lord Chamberlain and Cardinal Campeos and a couple of other small bits. Stephen?
I am Henry Stafford, Duke of Buckingham, John Longland, Bishop of Lincoln, who later became Chancellor of the University of Oxford, and Thomas Cranmer, Archbishop of Canterbury.
Larry?
I'm Lawrence Asher, and let's see. I'll be doing a bunch of stuff. Sergeant at Arms, Lord Sandys, Walter Sands, Gentleman Usher, Cromwell, third gentleman, who actually has a lot to say, Griffith, and as I said before, Cromwell. Hopefully that's about it.
Paula?
I am Paula Hosa. I am the narrator sometimes, including the prologue and the epilogue. I am a servant, an old lady, the Lord Chancellor, a porter's man, patience, and I think that's it.
Anna?
Hi, I'm Hannah Housley, and I'm playing Anne Boleyn and a bunch of other little roles.
Ben? Ben? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm Bennett Polishi, and I'm the king. Good to be the king.
Thank you for having me.
Aubrey? Jay?
Hi, I'm Jay Aubrey Jones. I'll be playing the Duke of Norfolk, the Keeper in Act 5, Scene 2, and the Porter in Act 5, Scene 3.
And Angus? Angus, are you there?
Muted still. There we go. Angus Hepburn reading Surrey, Abergavenny, Lovell, and Dr. Butt. I think that's it at the moment. Yeah.
Who did I miss?
Me.
Who's me?
Tony.
Oh, Tony.
Tony.
Oh, Tony.
I'm playing the part of Sir Charles Brandon, the Earl of Suffolk, the second gentleman, the Garter Knight. And I'm not sure if the first Brandon in the first scene is the same Sir Charles Brandon, but I'll just call him Brandon.
Right. Okay, did I miss anybody?
Vicky, Queen Catherine.
Oh, Vicky, oh, good grief.
Fine, no worries.
Vicky.
Hi, Vicky, Queen Catherine.
Asher Susswine, I'm reading Cardinal Wolsey.
And Roger Lipson, hi, I'm reading Bishop Gardner, Henry Guilford, Gentleman 1, and Capuchis.
All right, we're ready to start, I do believe.
I come no more to make you laugh. Things now that bear a weighty and a serious brow, sad, high, and working, full of state and woe, such noble scenes as draw the eye to flow, we now present. Those that can pity, here may, if they think it well, let fall a tear. The subject will deserve it. Such as give their money out of hope they may believe, may here find truth too. Those that come to see only a show or two and so agree, the play may pass. If they be still and willing, I'll undertake may see away their shilling richly in 2 short hours. Only they that come to hear a merry bawdy play, a noise of targets, or to see a fellow in a long motley coat guarded with yellow, will be deceived. For gentle hearers, know, to rank our chosen truth with such a show as fool and fight is, beside forfeiting our own brains and the opinion that we bring to make that only true we now intend, will leave us never an understanding friend. Therefore, for goodness sake, and as you are known the first and happiest hearers of the town, be sad as we would make ye. Think ye see the very persons of our noble story as they were living. Think you see them great and followed with the general throng and sweat of 1,000 friends. Then, in a moment, see how soon this mightiness meets misery. And if you can be merry then, I'll say a man may weep upon his wedding day.
Good morrow and well met. How have you done since last we saw in France?
I thank your grace, healthful, and ever since a fresh admirer of what I saw there.
An untimely ague stayed me a prisoner in my chamber, when those sons of glory, those two lights of men, met in the vale of Andren.
Twixt Gien and Ard, I was then present, saw them salute on horseback, beheld them when they lighted, how they clung in their embracement as they grew together, which had they, what four-throned ones could have weighed such a compounded one?
All the time I was in my chambers prisoner.
Oh, then you lost the view of earthly glory. Men might say till this time pomp was single, but now married to one above itself. Each following day became the next day's master, till the last made former wonders its. Today, the French, all clinquant, all in gold, like heathen gods, shone down the English, and tomorrow they made Britain India. Every man that stood showed like a mine, their dwarfest pages as cherubims all gilt. The madams, too, not used to toil, did almost sweat to bear the pride upon them, that their very labor was to them as a painting. Now, this mask was cried incomparable, and the ensuing night made it a fool and beggar. The two kings, equal in luster, were now best, now worst, as presence did present them, him in eye, still him in praise, and being present both, 'twas said they saw but one, and no discerner durst wag his tongue in censure when these sons, or so they phrase them, by their heralds challenged the noble spirits to arms. They did perform beyond thought's compass, that form of fabulous story being now seen possible enough. God credit that Bevis was believed.
Oh, you go too far.
As I belong to worship and affect in honor, honesty, the tract of everything, would by a good discourser lose some life, which action self was tongue to.
Who did guide? I mean, who set the body and the limbs of this great sport together, as you guess?
As you guess, one certs that promise is no element in such a business.
I pray you who, my lord?
All this was ordered by the good discretion of the Right Reverend Cardinal of York.
The devil speed him. No man's pie is freed from his ambitious finger. What had he to do in these fierce vanities, I wonder, that such a kitsch can, with his very bulk, take up the rays of the beneficial sun and keep it from the earth?
Surely, sir, there's in him stuff that puts him to these ends. For being not propped by ancestry, whose grace chalks successors their way, nor called upon for high feats done to the crown, neither allied to eminent assistance, but spider-like out of his self-drawing web. Oh, give us note. The force of his own merit makes his way a gift that heaven gives for him, which buys a place next to the king.
Oh, I cannot tell what heaven hath given here. Let some graver eye pierce into that, but I can see his pride peep through each part of him. Whence has he that, if not from hell? The devil is a niggard, or has given all before, that he begins a new hell in himself.
Why, the devil upon this French going out took he upon him, without the privity of the king, to appoint who should attend on him. He makes up the file of all the gentry. For the most part, such to whom as great a charge as little honour he meant to lay upon, and his own letter, the own honourable board of council out must fetch him his in he papers.
Well, I do know kinsmen of mine, 3 at least, that have by this so sickened their estates that never they shall abound as formerly.
Oh, many have broke their backs with laying manners on them for this great journey. What did this vanity but minister communication of a most poor issue?
Grievingly, I think, the peace between the French and us not values the cost that did conclude it.
Every man after the hideous storm that followed was a thing inspired, and not consulting broke into a general prophecy that this tempest, dashing the garment of this peace, boded the sudden breach on't.
Which is budded out, for France hath flawed the league and hath attached our merchants' goods at Bordeaux.
Is it therefore the ambassador is silenced?
Marriest.
Oh, proper title of a piece, and purchased at a superfluous rate.
Why, all this business our reverend cardinal carried.
Like it, your grace, the state takes notice of the private difference betwixt you and the cardinal. I advise you, and take it from a heart that wishes towards you honor and plenteous safety, that you read the cardinal's malice and his potency together, to consider further that what his high hatred would effect wants not a minister in his power. You know his nature, that he's revengeful, and I know his sword hath a sharp edge. It's long, and may be said it reaches far, and where 'twill not extend, thither he darts it. Bosom up my counsel, you'll find it wholesome. Lo, where comes that rock that I advise your shunning?
The Duke of Buckingham's surveyor, huh?
His examination is here, so please you.
Is he in person ready?
Aye, please your grace.
Well, then we shall then know more, and Buckingham shall lessen his big look.
This butcher's cur is venom-mouthed, and I have not the power to muzzle him. Therefore best not wake him in his slumber. A beggar's book outworth a noble's blood.
What are you, chaff? Ask God for temperance. That's the appliance only which your disease requires.
I read in's looks matter against me, and his eye reviled me as his abject object. At this instance he bores me with some trick. He's gone to the king. I'll follow and outstare him.
Now stay, Mike, and let your reason with your collar question what 'tis you go about. To climb steep hills requires slow pace at first. Anger is like a full hot horse who, being allowed his way, self-meddles tires him. Not a man in England can advise me like you. Be to yourself as you would to your friend.
Now to the king, and from a mouth of honour quite cry down this Ipswich fellow's insolence, or proclaim there's difference in no persons.
Be advised, heat not a furnace for your foe so hot that it do singe yourself. We may outrun by violent swiftness that which we run at, and lose by overrunning. Know you not the fire that mounts the liquor till's run o'er, in seeming to augment it, wastes it? Be advised, I say again, there is no English soul more stronger to direct you than yourself. If with the sap of reason you would quench or but allay the fire of passion.
Sir, I am thankful to you, and I'll go along by your prescription. But this top-proud fellow, whom from the flow of gall I name not, but from sincere motions, by intelligence and proofs as clear as founts in July, when we see each grain of gravel, I do know to be corrupt and treasonous.
Not say not treasonous.
To the king I'll say it. and make my voucher strong as shore of rock. Attend. This holy fox, or wolf, or both, for he is equal ravenous as he is subtle and as prone to mischief as able to perform, his mind and place infecting one another, yea, reciprocally, only to show his pomp as well in France as here at home, suggests the king, our master, to this last costly treaty. An interview that swallowed so much treasure, and like a glass did break invention.
Faith, and so it did.
Pray, give me favour, sir, this cunning cardinal, the articles of the combination drew as himself pleased, and they were ratified as he cried, thus let be, to as much end as give a crutch to dead. But our court cardinal has done this, and 'tis well, for worthy Wolsey, who cannot err, he did it. Now this follows, which I take it as a kind of puppy to the old damn treason. Charles the Emperor, under pretence to see the Queen, his aunt, for 'twas indeed his colour, but he came to whisper Wolsey, here makes visitation. His fears were that the interview betwixt England and France might, through their amity, breed him some prejudice, for from this league peep harms that menaced him. Privily deals with our cardinal, and as I trow, which I do know well, for I am sure the emperor paid ere he promised, whereby his suit was granted ere it was asked. But when the way was made and paved with gold, the emperor thus desired that he would please to alter the king's course and break the aforesaid peace. Let the king know, as soon he shall by me, that thus the cardinal does buy and sell his honor as he pleases, and for his own advantage.
I am sorry to hear this of him, and could wish he were something mistaken in it.
No, not a syllable I do pronounce him in that very shape. He shall appear in proof.
Your office, Sergeant. Execute it.
Sir, my lord, the Duke of Buckingham, and Earl of Hereford, Stafford, and Northampton, I arrest thee of high treason in the name of our most sovereign king.
Hello, you, my lord. The net has fallen upon me. I shall perish under device and practice.
I am sorry to see you ta'en from liberty to look on the business present. 'Tis his highness' pleasure you shall to the Tower.
It will help me nothing to plead mine innocence, for that dye is on me which makes my whitest part black. The will of heaven be done in this, and all things I obey. Oh, my lord Abergany, fare you well?
Nay, he must bear you company.
Uh-huh.
The king is pleased you shall to the Tower till you know how he determines further.
As the Duke said, the will of heaven be done, and the king's pleasure by me obeyed.
Here is a warrant from the king to attach Lord Montacute and the bodies of the Duke's confessor, John de la Carre, one Gilbert Peck, his counsellor.
Oh, not so. These are the limbs of the plot. No more, I hope.
A monk of the Chartreux.
Oh, Nicholas Hopkins.
He.
My surveyor is false. The great cardinal hath showed him gold. My life is spanned already. I am the shadow of poor Buckingham, whose figure even is this distant instant cloud puts upon by darkening my clear sun. My lord, farewell.
My life itself, and the best heart of it, thanks you for this great care. I stood in the level of a full-charged confederacy, and give thanks to you that choked it. Let me call before us that gentleman of Buckingham's in person. I'll hear him his confessions justify, and point by point the treasons of his master he shall again relate.
Nay, we must longer kneel. I am a suitor.
Arise, take your place beside us. Half your suit never named to us. You have half our power, and the other moiety you ask is given. Repeat your will and take it.
Thank your majesty, that you would love yourself, and in that love, not unconsidered leave your honor, nor the dignity of your office, is the point of my petition.
Lady mine, proceed.
I am solicited not by a few, and those of true consideration, that your subjects are in great grievance. There have been commissions set down upon them, which have flawed the heart of all their loyalties, wherein, although my good Lord Cardinal, they vent reproaches most bitterly on you to putter on of these exactions. Yet the king, our master, whose honor heaven shield from soil, even he escapes language unmannerly, yea, such which breaks the sides of loyalty, and almost appears in loud rebellion.
Not almost appears, it doth appear. For upon these taxations the clothiers, all not able to maintain the many to them longing, have put off the spinsters, carders, fullers, weavers, who, unfit for other life, compelled by hunger and lack of other means, in desperate manner, daring the event to the teeth, are all in uproar, and danger serves among them.
Taxation? Wherein? What taxation? My Lord Cardinal, you that are blamed for it alike with us, know you of this taxation? Cardinal? The king hath addressed you.
Please you, sir, I know but of a single part in aught pertains to the state, and front but in that file where others tell steps with me.
No, my lord, you know no more than others, but you frame things that are knowing alike, which are not wholesome to those who would not know them, and yet must perforce be their acquaintance. These exactions, whereof my sovereign would have none, they are most pestilent to the hearing, and to bear them, the back the sacrifice to the load. They say they are devised by you, or else you suffer too hard an exclamation.
Still exaction? The nature of it, in what kind, let us know, is this exaction?
I am much too virtuous in tempting of your patience, but I am boldened under your promised pardon. The subject's grief comes through commissions, which compels from each the 6th part of the substance to be levied without delay, and the pretense for this be named your wars in France. This makes bold mouths, tongues spit their duties out, and hearts freeze allegiance in them. Their curses now live where their prayers did. And it comes to pass, the tractable obedience is a slave to each insensate will. I would your highness would give it quick consideration, for there is no primer baseness.
By my life, this is against our pleasure.
And for me, I have no further gone in this than by a single voice, and that not past me, but by learned approbation of the judges. If I am traduced by ignorant tongues, which neither know my faculties nor person, yet will be the chronicles of my doing, let me say 'tis but the fate of place, and the rough break that virtue must go through. We must not stint our necessary actions in the fear to cope malicious censurers, which ever, as ravenous fishes do a vessel follow that is new trimmed, but benefit no further than vainly longing. What we oft do best, by sick interpreters, once weak ones, is not ours or not allowed. What worst, as oft hitting a grosser quality, is cried up for our best act. If we shall stand still in fear our motion will be mocked or carped at, we should take root here where we sit, or sit state statues only.
Things done well and with a care exempt themselves from fear. Things done without example in their issue are to be feared. Have you a precedent of this commission? I believe not any. We must not rend our subjects from our laws and stick them in our will. 6th part of each? A trembling contribution, why we take from every tree lopped bark and part of the timber, and though we leave it with a root thus hacked, the air will drink the sap. To every county, where this is questioned. Send our letters with free pardon to each man that has denied the force of this commission. Pray look to it too. I put it in your care.
A word with you. Let there be letters writ to every shire of the king's grace and pardon. The grieved commons hardly conceive of me. Let it be knowledged that through our intercession this revokement and pardon comes. I shall anon advise you further in the proceeding.
I am sorry that the Duke of Buckingham is run in your displeasure.
Oh, it grieves many. The gentleman is learned and a most rare speaker, to nature none more bound. His training such that he may furnish and instruct great teachers, and never seek for aid out of himself. Yet, see, when these so noble benefits shall prove not well disposed, the mind growing once corrupt, they turn to vicious forms, 10 times more ugly than ever they were fair. This man, so complete, who was enrolled mongst wonders, and when we almost with ravished listening could not find an hour of speech, a minute, he, my lady, hath into monstrous habits put the graces that once were his, and is become as black as if besmeared in hell. Sit by us. You shall hear. This was his gentleman in trust of him. Things to strike honor sad. Bid him recount the fore-recited practices, whereof we cannot feel too little, hear too much.
Stand forth, and with bold spirit relate what you most like a careful subject have collected out of the Duke of Buckingham.
Speak freely.
First, it was usual with him every day, it would infect his speech, that if the king should without issue die, he'll carry it so to make the scepter his. These very words I've heard him utter to his son-in-law, Lord Abergavenny, whom by oath he menaced revenge upon the cardinal.
Please, your highness, note this dangerous conception in this point. Not friended by his wish to your high person, his will is most malignant, and it stretches beyond you to your friends.
My learned Lord Cardinal, deliver all with charity.
Speak on, how grounded he is titled to the crown upon our fail. To this point hast thou heard him at any time speak aught?
He was brought to this by a vain prophecy of Nicholas Henton.
What was that, Henton?
Sir, a Chartres friar, his confessor, who fed him every minute with words of sovereignty.
How knowst thou this?
Not long before your highness sped to France, the Duke, being at the Rose, within the parish St. Lawrence Pulteney, did of me demand what was the speech among the Londoners concerning the French journey. I replied, men fear the French would prove perfidious to the king's danger. Presently, the Duke said 'twas the fear indeed, and that he doubted 'twould provoke the verity of certain words spoke by a holy monk, that oft, says he, hath said to me, wishing me to permit John de la Carre, my chaplain, a choice hour to hear from him a matter of some moment, whom, after under the commission's seals, he solemnly had sworn that what he spoke, my chaplain, to no creature living, but to me should utter with demure confidence. This pausingly ensued. Neither the king nor heirs, tell you the Duke, shall prosper. Bid him strive to the love of the commonalty. The Duke shall govern England.
If I know you well, you were the Duke's surveyor and lost your office on a complaint of the tenants. Take good heed. You charge not but in your spleen a noble person, and spoil your nobler soul. I say, take heed, yea, heartily beseech you.
Let him go on.
On my soul, I'll speak but truth. I told my lord the Duke, by the devil's illusions the monk might be deceived, and that 'twas dangerous for this to ruminate on this so far, until it forged him some design, which, being believed, it was much like to do. He answered, tush, it can do me no damage, adding further that had the king in his last sickness failed, the cardinals and Sir Thomas Lovell's heads should have gone off.
Ah, so rank. Mischief in this man. Canst thou say further?
I can, my liege.
Proceed.
being at Greenwich after your highness had reproved the Duke about Sir William Bloomer.
I remember such a time. Being my sworn servant, the Duke retained him his. But on, what hence?
If, quoth he, I for this had been committed as to the Tower, I thought I would have played the part my father meant to act upon the usurper Richard, who being at Salisbury made still to come in's presence, which if granted, as he made semblance of his duty, would have put his knife into him.
Giant traitor!
Now, madam, may his highness live in freedom and this man out of prison?
God mend all.
There's something more would out of thee. What sayest?
After the Duke, his father, with the knife, he stretched him on, and with one hand on his dagger, another spread on his breast, mounting his eyes, he did discharge a horrible oath, whose tenor was, were he evil used, he would outgo his father by as much as a performance does an irresolute purpose.
There's a period. To sheathe his knife in us. He is attached. Call him present to trial. If he may find mercy in the law, 'tis his. If none, let him not seek of us. By day and night, he's traitor to the height.
Is possible the spells of France should juggle men into such strange mysteries?
Your customs, oh, they never be so ridiculous. Nay, let them be unmanly, yet are followed.
As far as I see, all the good our English have got by the late voyage is but merely a fit or two of the face. But they are shrewd ones, for when they hold them, you would swear directly their very noses had been counselors to Pepin or Clotharius. They keep state so.
They have all new legs, and lame ones, one would take it. I did never see him pace before. A spade and a spring ought to reigned among them.
My lord, the clothes are after such a pagan cut to it, that sure they've worn out Christendom. How now? What news, Sir Thomas Lovell? What news, Sir Thomas Lovell? Where is Sir Thomas Lovell?
Who plays Sir Thomas Lovell?
Find this in my own. Angus.
Yeah. Faith, my lord, I hear of none but the new proclamation that's clapped upon the court gate.
What's it for?
The reformation of our travelled gallants that fill the court with quarrels, talk, and tailors.
I'm glad 'tis there. Now I would pray our monsieurs to think an English courtier may be wise and never see the Louvre.
Well, they must either, for so run the conditions, leave those remnants of fool and feather that they got in France with all their honourable points of ignorance pertaining thereunto, as fights and fireworks, abusing better men than they can be out of a foreign wisdom, renouncing clean the faith they have in tennis and tall stockings, short blistered breeches, and those types of travel, and understand again, like honest men, or pack their old playfellows. There, I take it, they may cum privilegio, wee away the lag end of their lewdness and be laughed at.
It's time to give them physic. Their diseases are grown so catchy.
What a loss our ladies will have of these trim vanities.
I'm added there will be woe indeed, lords. The sly horsens have got a speeding trick to lay down, ladies. A French song and a fiddle has no fellow.
Give a fiddle them. I am glad they are going, for sure there's no converting of them. Now, an honest country lord as I am, beaten a long time out of play, may bring his plain song and have an hour of hearing, and by a lady held current music too.
Well said, Lord Sands. Your colt's tooth is not cast yet?
No, my lord, no, nor shall not while I have a stump.
Sir Thomas, whither are you going?
Oh, to the cardinal's. Your lordship is a guest too.
Oh, 'tis true. This night he makes a supper, and a great one, to many lords and ladies. It will be the beauty of this kingdom, I'll assure you.
That churchman bears a bounteous mind indeed. a hand as fruitful as the land that feeds us. His dews fall everywhere.
No doubt he's noble, and he had a black mouth that said other of it.
He may, my lord, as wherewithal in him, the sparing would show a worse sin than ill doctrine. Men of his way should be most liberal. They are set here for examples.
True, they are so, but few now give so great ones. My barge stays. Your lordship shall go along. Come, good Sir Thomas, we shall be late else, which I would not be, for I was spoke to with Sir Henry Guildford this night to be controllers.
I am your lordship's.
Ladies, a general welcome from his grace salutes ye all. This night he dedicates to fair content and you. None here, he hopes, in all this noble bevy has brought with her one care abroad. He would have us all as merry. As first, good company, good wine, good welcome can make good people. Oh, my lord, you are tardy. The very thought of this fair company clapped wings to me.
You are young, Sir Henry Guildford.
Sir Thomas Lovell had the cardinal but half my lay thoughts in him. Some of these should find a running banquet ere they are rested. I think would better please them, by my life. They are a sweet society, fair ones.
Oh, that your lordship were but now confessor to one or two of these.
I would I were, that should find easy penance.
Faith, how easy?
As easy as a down bed would afford it.
Sweet ladies, will it please you sit? Sir Harry, place you that side. I'll take the charge of this. His grace is entering. Nay, you must not freeze. Two women placed together makes cold weather. My Lord Sands, you are one will keep him waking. Pray sit between these ladies.
By my faith, and thank your lordship. By your leave, sweet ladies, if I chance to talk a little while, forgive me. I had it from my father.
Was he mad, sir?
Oh, very mad, exceedingly mad, in love too. He would bite none, just as I do now. He would kiss you 20 with a breath.
Well said, my lord. So now you're fairly seated. Gentlemen, the penance lies on you if these fair ladies pass away frowning.
Oh, for my little cure, let me alone.
You're welcome, my fair guests. That noble lady or gentleman that is not freely merry is not my friend. This to confirm my welcome, and so to you all good health.
Your grace is noble. Let me have such a bowl may hold my thanks and save me from so much talking.
My Lord Sands, I am beholden to you. Cheer your neighbors. Ladies, you're not merry. Gentlemen, whose fault is this?
The red wine first must rise in their fair cheeks, my lord. Then we shall have them. Talk us to silence.
You are a merry gamester, my Lord Sands.
Yes, if I make my play here's to your ladyship, and pledge it, madam, for 'tis to such a thing.
You cannot shrew me.
I told your grace they would talk anon.
What's that?
Look out there, some of you.
What warlike voice, and to what end is this? Nay, ladies, fear not. By all the laws of war, you are privileged.
How now? What is it?
A noble troop of strangers, for so they seem. They've left their barge and landed, and hither make as great ambassadors from foreign princes.
Good Lord Chamberlain, go give him welcome. You can speak the French tongue, and pray receive him nobly, and conduct him into our presence, where this heaven of beauty shall shine at full upon them. Some attend him. You have now a broken banquet, but we'll mend it. A good digestion to you all, and once more I shower a welcome on you. Welcome all.
Hot boy, as masters, habited like by the Lord Chamberlain, they pass directly before the cardinal and gracefully salute him.
A noble company. What are their pleasures?
Because they speak no English, thus they pray to tell your grace that having heard by fame of this so noble and so fair assembly, this night to meet here, they could do no less out of their great respect they bear to beauty, but leave their flocks, and under your fair conduct crave leave to view these ladies, and entreat an hour of revels with them.
Say, Lord Chamberlain, they have done my poor house grace, for which I pay 1,000 thanks, and pray him take their pleasures.
Fairest hand I ever touched. O beauty, till now I never knew thee.
My lord.
Your grace?
Pray tell him thus much from me. There should be one amongst them by his person more worthy this place than myself, to whom, if I but knew him, with my love and duty, I would surrender it.
I will, my lord.
What say they?
There, such a one, they all confess, there is indeed, which they would have your grace find out, and he will take it.
Let me see then. By all your good leaves, gentlemen, here I'll make my royal choice.
You found him, Cardinal. You hold a fair assembly. You do well, Lord. You're a churchman, or I'll tell you, Cardinal, I should judge now unhappily.
I am glad your grace has grown so pleasant.
My Lord Chamberlain, prithee come hither. What fair lady's that?
And please, your grace, Sir Thomas Bullen's daughter, the Viscount Rochford, one of her highness's women.
By heaven, she is a dainty one. Sweetheart, I were unmannerly to take you out and not to kiss you. A health, gentlemen, let it go around.
Sir Thomas Lovell, is the banquet ready in the privy chamber?
Yes, my lord.
Your grace, I fear, with dancing is a little heated.
I fear too much.
There's fresher air, my lord, in the next chamber.
Lead your ladies in, everyone. Sweet partner, I must not yet forsake you. Let's be merry. Good, my Lord Cardinal, I have half a dozen healths to drink to these fair ladies and a measure to lead them once again, and then let's dream who's best in favor. Let the music knock it.
Hey, whither away so fast?
Oh, God save you. Even to the hall to hear what shall become of the great Duke of Buckingham.
I'll save you that labour, sir. All's done now, but the ceremony of bringing back the prisoner.
Were you there?
Yes, indeed I was.
Pray speak what has happened.
Well, you may guess quickly what.
Was he found guilty?
Yes, truly he is, and condemned upon it.
Oh, I'm sorry for it.
Yes, so are a number more.
But pray, how passed it?
I'll tell you in a little. The great Duke came to the bar, where to his accusations he pleaded not guilty, and alleged many sharp reasons to defeat the law. The king's attorney, on the contrary, urged on the examinations, proofs, confessions of divers witnesses, which the Duke desired to be brought him viva voce to his face, at which appeared against him his surveyor, Sir Gilbert Peck, his chancellor, and John Carr, confessor to him, with that devil monk, Hopkins, that made this mischief.
That was he fed him with his prophecies.
Same. All these accused him strongly, which he fain would have flung from him, but indeed he could not. And so his peers, upon this evidence, found him guilty of high treason. Much he spoke and learnedly for life, but all was either pitted in him or forgotten.
After all this, how did he bear himself?
When he was brought again to the bar to hear his knell rung out his judgment, he was stirred with such an agony. Oh, he sweat extremely. Poor. And something spoke in choler, still ill and hasty, but he fell to himself again, and sweetly, in all the rest showed, well, a most noble patience.
I do not think he fears death.
Sure he does not. He never was so womanish. The cause may a little grieve at.
Certainly the cardinal is at the end of this.
'Tis likely, by all conjectures. First, Kildare's attender, then Deputy of Ireland, who removed Earl Surrey, was sent thither, and in haste too, lest he should help his father.
That trick of state was a deep envious one.
At his return, no doubt he will requite it. This is noted, and generally, whoever the king favours, the cardinal instantly will find employment, and far enough from court too.
All the commons hate him perniciously, and all my conscience wish him 10 fathom deep. His duke as much they love and dote on, call him bounteous Buckingham, the mirror of all courtesy.
Stay there, sir, and see the noble ruined man you speak of.
Let's stand close and behold him.
All good people, you that thus far have come to pity me, hear what I say, and then go home and lose me. I have this day received a traitor's judgment, and by that name must die. Yet heaven bear witness, and if I have a conscience, let it sink me, even as the axe falls, if I be not faithful. The law, I bear no malice for my death, and has done upon the premises but justice. But those that sought it, I could wish more Christians, be what they will. I heartily forgive them. Yet let them look, they glory not in my mischief, nor build their evils on the graves of great men, for then my guiltless blood must cry against them. For further life in this world I ne'er hope, nor will I sue, although the king have mercies more than I dare make faults. You few that loved me, and dare be bold to weep for Buckingham, his noble friends and fellows, whom to leave is only bitter to him, own onely dying. Go with me like good angels to my end, and as the long divorce of steel falls on me, make your prayers one sweet sacrifice and lift my soul to heaven. Lead on in God's name.
I do beseech your grace for charity, if ever any malice in your heart were hid against me, now to forgive me frankly.
Sir Thomas Lovell, I as free forgive you as I would be forgiven. I forgive all. There cannot be those numberless offences against me that I cannot take peace with. No black envy shall make mark my grave. Commend me to his grace. And if he speaks of Buckingham, pray tell him you met him half in heaven. My vows and prayers yet are the king's, until my soul forsakes, shall cry for blessings on him. May he live longer than I have time to tell his years, ever beloved and loving may his rule be. And when old time shall lead him to his end, goodness and he fill up one monument.
To the water side I must conduct your grace, then give my charge up to Sir Nicholas Vaux, who undertakes you to your end.
Prepare there, the Duke is coming. See the barge be ready and fit it with such furniture as sweets the greatness of his person.
Nay, Sir Nicholas, let it alone. My state will now but mock me. When I came hither, I was Lord High Constable and Duke of Buckingham. But now, poor Edward Stafford, yet I am richer than my base accusers that never knew what truth meant. I seal it now, and with that blood will make 'em one day groan for't. My noble father, Henry of Buckingham, who first raised head against usurping Richard, flying for succour to his servant Bannister, being distressed, was by that wretch betrayed, and without trial fell. God's peace be with him. Henry VII, succeeding, truly pitying my father's loss, like a most royal prince, restored me to my honours, and out of ruins made my name once more noble. Now his son, Henry VIII, life, honour, name, and all that made me happy, at one stroke has taken forever from the world. I had my trial, I must needs say a noble one, which makes me a little happier than my wretched father. Yet thus far we are one in fortunes. Both fell by our servants, by those men we loved most, a most unnatural and faithless service. Heaven has end in all, yet you that hear me, this from a dying man receive as certain. Where you are liberal of your loves and counsels, be sure you be not loose. For those you make friends and give your hearts to, when they once perceive the least rub in your fortunes, fall away like water from ye, never found again, but where they mean to sink ye. All good people, pray for me. I must now forsake ye. The last hour of my long, weary life is come upon me. Farewell. And when you would say something that is sad, speak how I fell. I have done, and God forgive me.
Ah, this is full of pity. Sir, it calls, I fear, too many curses on their heads that were the authors.
If the Duke be guiltless, 'tis full of woe. Yet I can give you inkling of an ensuing evil, if it fall greater than this.
Good angels, keep it from us. What may it be? You do not doubt my faith, sir?
This secret is so weighty 'twill require strong faith to conceal it.
Well, let me have it. I do not talk much.
I am confident you shall hear, sir. Did you not of late days hear a buzzing of a separation between the Duke and Catherine?
Yeah, but held it not. For when the king once heard it, out of danger, he sent command to the Lord Mayor straight to stop the rumour and lay those tongues that durst disperse it.
But that slander, sir, is found a truth now, for it grows again fresher than e'er it was, and held for certain the king will venture at it. Either the cardinal or some about him near have out of malice to the good queen possessed him with a scruple that will undo her. To confirm this too, Cardinal Campertus is arrived, and lately, as all think, for this business.
'Tis the cardinal, and merely to revenge him on the emperor for not bestowing on him at his asking the archbishopric of Toledo. That is purposed.
I think you have hit the mark. But it's not cruel that she should feel the smart of this. The cardinal will have his will, and she must fall.
'Tis woeful. We are too open here to argue this. Let's think in private more.
My lord, the horses your lordship sent for, with all the care I had, I saw well chosen, ridden, and furnished. They were young and handsome, and of the best breed in the north. When they were ready to set out for London, a man of my lord cardinal's by commission and main power took them from me with this reason: his master would be served before subject, if not before the king, which stopped our mouths, sir. I fear he will indeed. Well, let him have them. He will have all, I think.
Well met, my Lord Chamberlain.
Good day to both your graces.
How is the king employed?
I left him private, full of sad thoughts and troubles.
What's the cause?
It seems the marriage with his brother's wife has crept too near his conscience.
No, his conscience has crept too near another lady.
'Tis so. This is the cardinal's doing. The king cardinal, that blind priest, like the eldest son of fortune, turns what he list. The king will know him one day.
Pray God he do. He'll never know himself else.
How holily he works in all his business, and with what zeal. For now he has cracked the league between us and the emperor, the queen's great nephew. He dives into the king's soul, and there scatters dangers, doubts, wringing of the conscience, fears and despairs, and all these for his marriage. And out of all these, to restore the king, he counsels a divorce, a loss of her that, like a jewel, he's hung 20 years about his neck, yet never lost her luster. Of her that loves him with that excellence that angels love good men with. Even of her that, when the greatest stroke of fortune falls, will bless the king. And is not this course pious?
Heaven keep me from such counsel. 'Tis most true these news are everywhere, every tongue speaks them, and every true heart weeps for it. All that dare look into these affairs sees this main end. The French king's sister. Heaven will one day open the king's eyes that so long have slept upon this bold, bad man.
And free us from his slavery.
We had need pray and heartily for our deliverance. For this imperious man will work us all from princes into pages. All men's honors lie like one lump before him to be fashioned into what pitch he please.
For me, my lords, I love him not, nor fear him. There's my creed. As I am made without him, so I'll stand. If the king please, his curses and his blessings touch me alike. Our breath I not believe in. I knew him, and I know him. So I leave him to him that made him proud, the Pope.
Let's in, and with some other business, put the king from these sad thoughts that work too much upon him. My lord, you'll bear us company?
Excuse me. The king has sent me otherwhere. Besides, you'll find a most unfit time to disturb him. Health to your lordships.
Thanks, my good Lord
Thanks, good Lord Chamberlain.
How sad he looks. Sure he is much afflicted.
Huh? Who's there?
Pray God he not be angry.
Who's there, I say? How dare you thrust yourself into my private meditations? Who am I, huh?
A gracious king that pardons all offenses, malice ne'er meant. Our breach of duty was this way, is business of a state in which we come to know your royal pleasure.
You are too bold. Go to, I'll make you known in your time of business. Is this an hour for temporal affairs, huh? Who's there? Ah, my good Lord Cardinal. Oh, my Wolsey, the quiet of my wounded conscience. Thou art a cure fit for a king. You're welcome, most learned reverend sir, into our kingdom. Use us and it. My good lord, have great care I be not found a talker. Ash?
Yeah, I'm having trouble starting video. I don't understand.
We know what you look like.
Sir, you cannot. I would your grace would give us but an hour of private conference.
We are busy. Go, go.
This priest has no pride in him.
Not to speak of. I would not be so sick, though, for his place. But this cannot continue.
If it do, I'll venture one. Have at him.
And I another.
Your grace has given a precedent of wisdom above all princes, in committing freely your scruple to the voice of Christendom. Who can be angry now? What envy reach you? The Spaniard, tied by blood and favor to her, must now confess, if they have any goodness, the trial just and noble. All the clerks, I mean the learned ones in Christian kingdoms, have their free voices. Rome, the nurse of judgment, invited by your noble self, hath sent one general tongue unto us. This good man, this just and learned priest, Cardinal Campeius, whom once more I present unto your highness.
And once more in my arms I bid him welcome. And thank the holy conclaves for their loves. They have sent me such a man I would have wished for.
Your grace must needs deserve all strangers' loves. You are so noble. To your highness' hand I tender my commission, by whose virtue the court of Rome commanding. You, my lord, Cardinal of York, are joined with me, their servant, in the impartial judging of this business.
Two equal men. The queen shall be acquainted forthwith for what you come. Where's Gardner?
I know your majesty has always loved her so dear in heart, not to deny her that a woman of lesser place might ask by law. Scholars allowed freely to argue for her.
Aye, and the best she shall have, and my favor to him that does best. God forbid else. Cardinal, prithee, call Gardner to me, my new secretary. I find him a fit fellow.
Give me your hand, much joy and favor to you. You are the king's now.
But to be commanded forever by your grace, whose hand has raised me.
Come hither, Gardner.
My lord of York, was not one Dr. Pace in this man's place before him?
Yes, he was.
Was he not held a learned man?
Yes, surely.
Believe me, there's an ill opinion spread then, even of yourself, Lord Cardinal.
How? Of me?
They will not stick to say you envied him, and fearing he would rise, he was so virtuous, kept him a foreign man still, which so grieved him that he ran mad and died.
Heaven's peace be with him. That's Christian care enough. For living murmurers, there's place of rebuke. He was a fool, for he would needs be virtuous. That good fellow, if I command him, follows my appointment, I will have none so near else. Learn this, brother. We live not to be griped by meaner persons.
Deliver this with modesty to the queen. The most convenient place that I can think of for such receipt of learning is Blackfriars. There you shall meet about this weighty business, my Wolsey, and see it furnished. For my lord, would it not grieve an able man to leave so sweet a bedfellow? But conscience, conscience, to the tender place, I must leave her.
Not for that neither. Here's the pang that pinches. His Highness, having lived so long with her, and she so good a lady that no tongue could ever pronounce dishonour of her. By my life, she never knew harm doing. Oh, now after so many courses of the sun enthroned, still growing in majesty and pomp the which to leave, 1,000-fold more bitter than 'tis sweet at first to acquire. After this process, to give her the avant, 'tis a pity would move a monster.
Hearts of most hard temper melt and lament for her.
Oh, God's will, much better that ne'er she had known pomp, though it be temporal. Yet if that quarrel, fortune do divorce it from the bearer, 'tis a sufferance panging as soul and body severing.
Alas, poor lady, she's a stranger now again.
So much the more must pity drop upon her. Verily, I swear 'tis better to be lowly born and range with humble livers in content than to be pucked up in a glistering grief and wear a golden sorrow.
Our content is our best having.
By my troth and maidenhead, I would not be queen.
Beshrew me, I would, and venture maidenhead for it, and so would you, for all this spice of your hypocrisy. You that have so fair parts of woman on you, have too a woman's heart, which ever yet affected eminence, wealth, sovereignty, which, to say sooth, are blessings, and which gifts, saving your mincing, the capacity of your cheveril conscience would receive, if you might please to stretch it.
Nay, good troth.
Yes, troth and troth. You would not be a queen?
No, not for all the riches under heaven.
'Tis strange. A threepence bode would hire me, old as I am, to queen it. But I pray you, what think you of a duchess? Have you limbs to bear that load of title?
No, in truth.
Well, then you are weakly made. Pluck off a little, would not be a young count in your way for more than blushing comes to. If your back cannot vouchsafe this burden, 'tis too weak ever to get a boy.
How you do talk! Now I swear again I would not be a queen for all the world.
I' faith, for little England you'd venture in emballing. I myself would for Carnarvonshire, although there longed no more to the crown but that. Oh, no, who comes here?
Good morrow, ladies. What worth to know the secret of your conference?
My good lord, not your demand. It values not your asking. Our mistress' sorrows we were pitying.
It was a gentle business and becoming the action of good women. There is hope all will be well.
Now I pray God, amen.
You bear a gentle mind, and heavenly blessings follow such creatures. That you may, fair lady, perceive I speak sincerely, and high notes ta'en of your many virtues, the king's majesty commends his good opinion to you, to you, and does purpose honor to you no less flowing than Marchioness of Pembroke, to which title £1,000 a year annual support out of his grapes he adds.
I do not know what kind of my obedience I should tender. More than my all is nothing. Nor my prayers are not words duly hallowed, nor my wishes more worth than empty vanities. Yet prayers and wishes are all I can return. I beseech your lordship vouchsafe to speak my thanks and my obedience as from a blushing handmaid to his highness, whose health and royalty I pray for.
Lady, I shall not fail to approve the fair conceit the king hath of you. I have perused her well. Beauty and honor are in her are so mingled that they have caught the king. And who knows yet, but from this lady may proceed a gem to lighten all this isle. I'll to the king and say I spoke to you.
My honoured lord.
Why, this it is. See? I have been begging 16 years in court, am yet a courtier beggarly, nor could compat betwixt too early and too late for any suit of pounds. And you, oh fate, a very fresh fish here. Fie upon this compelled fortune. Have your mouth filled up before you open it?
It's strange to me.
How tastes it? Is it bitter? 40 pence? No. There was a lady once, 'tis an old story, that would not be a queen. That would she not for all the mud in Egypt? Have you heard it?
You are pleasant.
With your theme, I could mount the lark. The Marchioness of Pembroke? Ooh, £1,000 a year for pure respect, no other obligation. By my life, that promises more thousands. Honor's train is longer than his foreskirt. By this time, I know your back will bear a duchess. Say, are you not stronger than you were?
Good lady, make yourself mirth with your particular fancy and leave me out on it. Would I had no being if this salute my blood had jotted. Faint me to think what follows. The queen is comfortless, and we forgetful in our long absence. Pray do not deliver what here you've heard to her.
What do you think me? Trumpets, senate, cornets. Enter 2 vergers with short silver wands. Next them, 2 scribes in the habit of doctors. After them, the Bishop of Canterbury alone. After him, the Bishops of Lincoln, Ely, Rochester, and St. Asaph. Next them, with some small distance, follows a gentleman bearing the purse with the great seal and a cardinal's hat. Then 2 priests bearing each a silver cross. Then a gentleman usher, bareheaded, accompanied with a sergeant at arms bearing a silver mace. Then 2 gentlemen bearing 2 great silver pillars. After them, side by side, the 2 cardinals, 2 noblemen with the sword and mace. The king takes place under the cloth of state. The 2 cardinals sit under him as judges. The queen takes place some distance from the king. The bishops place themselves on each side of the court in manner of a consistory. Below them, the scribes. The lords sit next the bishops. The rest of the attendants stand in convenient order about the stage.
Whilst our commission from Rome is read, let silence be commanded.
What's the need? It has already been publicly read, and on all sides the authority allowed. You may then spare that time.
Be it so. Proceed.
Hey, Henry, King of England, come into the court.
Henry, King of England in court.
Here.
Say, Catherine, Queen of England, come into the court.
Catherine, Queen of England in court.
Sir, I desire you to do me right and justice, and to bestow your pity on me, for I am a most poor woman and a stranger born out of your dominions. Having here no judge indifferent, no more assurance of counsel, friendship, and proceeding, Alas, sir, in what have I offended you? What cause hath my behavior given to your displeasure, that thus you should proceed to put me off and take your good grace from us? Heaven witness, I have been to you a true and humble wife, at all times at your will conformable, even to kindle your dislike, yet subject to your countenance, glad or sad, as I sought to exclaim, what is the hour I ever contradicted your desire, or made it not mine too? On which of your friends have I not crossed to love, though I knew he were mine enemy? What friend of mine that had to him derived your anger did I continue in my liking? Nay, give notice he was from thence discharged. Sir, call to mind that I have been your wife in this obedience upward of 20 years, and have been blessed with many children by you. If in the course and process of this time you can report and prove it too, against mine honor aught my bond to wedlock, or my love and duty against your sacred person, in God's name, turn me away, and let the foulest contempt shut door upon me, and so give me up to the sharpest kind of justice. Please you, sir, the king your father was reported for a prince most prudent, of an excellent and unmatched wit and judgment. Ferdinand, my father, king of Spain, was reckoned to one of the wisest prince that there had ever reigned by many a year before. It is not to be questioned that they had gathered a wise council to them of every realm that did debate this business. Who deems our marriage lawful? Wherefore I humbly beseech you, sir, to spare me till I may be by my friends in Spain advised, whose counsel I will implore. If not, the name of God, your pleasure be fulfilled.
You have here, lady, and of your choice, these reverend fathers, men of singular integrity and learning, yea, the elect of the land, who are assembled to plead your cause. It shall be therefore bootless that longer you desire the court, as well for your own quiet as to rectify what is unsettled in the king.
His grace hath spoken well and justly. Therefore, madam, it's fit this royal session do proceed, and that without delay their arguments be now produced and heard.
Lord Cardinal, to you I speak.
Your pleasure, madam.
Sir, I am about to weep, but thinking that we are a queen, or long have dreamt of so, certainly the daughter of a king, my drops of tears I'll turn to sparks of fire.
Be patient yet.
I will when you are humble. Nay, before her God will punish me. I do believe, just by potent circumstances, that you are mine enemy, and make my challenge, it shall not be my judge, for it is you have blown this coal between my lord and me, which God do quench. Therefore I say again, I utterly abhor, yes, from my soul, refuse you for my judge, whom yet once more I hold my most malicious foe, and think not at all a friend to truth.
I do profess you speak not like yourself, who ever yet have stood to charity and displayed the effects of disposition gentle, and of wisdom o'ertopping woman's power. Madam, you do me wrong. I have no spleen against you, nor injustice for you, or any. How far I have proceeded, or how far further shall, is warranted by a commission from the consistory, yea, the whole consistory of Rome. You charge me that I have blown this coal. I do deny it. The king is present. If it be known to him that I gainsay my deed, how may he wound unworthily my falsehood, yea, as much as you have done my truth? If he know that I am free of your report, he knows I am not of your wrong. Therefore in him it lies to cure me, and the cure is to remove these thoughts from you. The which before his highness shall speak in, I do beseech you, gracious, madam, to unthink your speaking and to say so no more.
My lord, I am a simple woman, much too weak to oppose your cunning. You are meek and humble-mouthed, to sign your peace and calling in full seeming with meekness and humility, but your heart is crammed with arrogance, spleen, and pride. You have by fortune and His Highness favors gone slightly o'er low steps, and now are mounted where powers are your retainers, and your words, domestics to you, serve your will. Is it pleased yourself pronounce their office? I must tell you, you tender more your person's honor than your high profession spiritual. That agent I do refuse you for my judge, and here before you, appeal unto the Pope to bring my whole cause for His Holiness, and to be judged by him.
The Queen is obstinate, stubborn to justice, apt to accuse it, and disdainful to be tried by it. 'Tis not well she's going away.
Call her again.
Catherine, Queen of England, come into the court.
Madam, you are called back.
What need you note? And pray you keep your way. When you are called returned. Now the Lord help. They vex past my patience. Pray you pass on. I will not tarry, no, nor evermore under this business my appearance make in any of their courts.
Go thy ways, Kate. That man in the world who shall report he has a better wife, let him in naught be trusted, for speaking false in that. Thou art alone. If thy rare qualities, sweet gentleness, thy meekness, saint-like, wife-like government, obeying and commanding, and in thy parts, sovereign and pious else could speak thee out. The queen of earthly queens. She's noble born, and like her true nobility, she has carried herself towards me.
Most gracious sir, in humblest manner I require your highness that it shall please you to declare in hearing of all these ears, for where I am robbed and bound, there must I be unloosed, although not there at once and fully satisfied, whether ever I did broach this business to your highness, or laid any scruple in your way which might induce you to the question on it, or ever have to you, but with thanks to God for such a royal lady, spake one, the least word that might be to the prejudice of her present state, or touch of her good person.
My Lord Cardinal, I do excuse you. Yea, upon my honor, I free you from't. You are not to be taught that you have many enemies that know not why they are so, but like to village curs bark when their fellows do. But by some of these, the queen is put in anger. You're excused. But will you be more justified? You ever have wished the sleeping of this business, never desired it to be stirred, but oft have hindered, oft the passages made toward it. On my honor, I speak, my good Lord Cardinal, to this point. And thus far, clear him. Now, what moved me to it, I will be bold with time and your attention, then mark the inducement. Thus it came, give heed to it. My conscience first received a tenderness, scruple, and prick on certain speeches uttered by the Bishop of Bayonne, then the French ambassador, who had been hither sent on the debating and marriage twixt the Duke of Orleans and our daughter Mary. In the progress of this business, ere a determinate resolution, the bishop, did require a respite, wherein he might, the king his daughter, advertise whether our daughter were legitimate. Respecting this our marriage with the dowager, sometimes our brother's wife. Now, this respite shook the bosom of my conscience, entered me, yea, with a spitting power, and made to tremble that region of my breast, which forced such way that many mazed considerings did throng and pressed in with this caution. First, methought I stood not in the smile of heaven, who had commanded nature, that my lady's womb, if it conceived a male child by me, should do no more offices of my life to it than the grave does to the dead. For her male issue or died when they were made, or shortly after this world had aired them. Hence, I took a thought this was a judgment on me, that my kingdom, well worthy the best heir of the world, should not be gladdened in't by me. And then follows that I weighed the danger which my realm stood in. By this my issues fail, and that gave to me many a groaning throe. Thus hulling in the wild sea of my conscience, I did steer towards this remedy, whereupon we are now present here together. That's to say, I meant to rectify my conscience, which I then did feel full sick, and yet not well, by all the reverend fathers of the land and doctors learned. First I began in private with you, my Lord of Lincoln. You remember how under my oppression I did reek when I first moved you?
Very well, my liege.
I've spoken long. Be pleased yourself to say how far you satisfied me.
So please your highness, the question did at first so stagger me, bearing a state of mighty moment in't, and consequence of dread, that I committed the daringst counsel which I had to doubt, and did entreat your highness to this course which you are running here.
And then I moved you, my Lord of Canterbury, and got your leave to make this present summons unsolicited. I left no reverend person in this court, but by particular consent proceeded under your hands and seals. Therefore, go on for no dislike of the world against the person of the good queen, but the sharp, thorny points of my alleged reasons drives this forward. Prove but our marriage lawful. By my life and kingly dignity, we are contented to wear our mortal state to come with her, Catherine, our queen, before the primest creature that's before the primest creature that's paragoned of the world.
So please your highness, the queen being absent, 'tis a needful fitness that we adjourn this court till further day. Meanwhile, must an earnest motion made to the queen to call her appeal, to call back her appeal. She intends unto his holiness.
I may perceive these cardinals trifle with me. I abhor this dilatory sloth and tricks of Rome. My learned and well-beloved servant Cranmer, prithee return with thy approach. I know my comfort comes along. Wake up the court. I say, set on.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us now take a break until 2:30.
Okay, very good.
2:30 it is.
Thank you.
Good job, everyone. I'm enjoying listening to it while on my route.
Hey, Paul, you look like a beekeeper.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, well, my pith helmet.
Thank you, Paul. How are you doing? How's it going?
Which helped when it rained a bit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It rained out there today?
Yeah, yeah. A little bit, just around 1.
Oh, bugger me
Got
with
a little bit of rain.
Oh, sorry, man.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Cooled things down a bit. It wasn't too bad.
You should be inside reading Shakespeare with us.
Yeah.
Neither
Or
rain
outside,
rain nor snow nor ISC shall stop you from your appointed rounds.
Right. Yeah, well, I just wanted to, since we have a little break here, just to let people know about the few of the sort of date things related to this date, well, near this date. June 28th was Henry VIII's birthday. Of course, they measured the calendar a little differently back then, but he would have been, this Monday will be the 530th anniversary of his birth. And June 29th was famous because in 1613, while they were doing a performance of Henry VIII, the globe caught fire and burned down. And so there's that. And then, but one of the things that's sort of interesting in terms of the whole sort of subplot with the Duke of Buckingham, 15 years later, on under, I think it was Charles I, after James had passed away, they did a performance of Henry VIII just to show, hey, see, we're not worried about the globe burning down again. And the globe didn't burn down, but the Duke of Buckingham, the current Duke of Buckingham, who wasn't related to the Duke of Buckingham in this play, watched the play, and then he sort of left after the intermission, after Buckingham had been executed, you know, because it's like that's all that he was interested in. And within 2 weeks, he was assassinated. So, I mean, a lot of people talk about the curse of the Scottish play, but Henry VIII, I mean, the globe never burned down during a performance of Macbeth. So,
yeah.
Well, it was their own fault for using live cannons.
Sorry?
Oh.
It was their own fault for using live cannons and live ammunition.
Yeah, the big spectacle, special effects. Special effects can kill you. And it's like we have a contemporary account where there was, nobody was injured, except we don't know like how much was lost in terms of the properties and scripts and things in the theater that were lost. And it's sort of, some people believe that may have been why sort of Shakespeare retired. That it was sort of like after that, and then having to do all of this stuff of rebuilding the globe, that people believe he may have sort of like gotten rid of his shares because there's no sort of mention of them in his will, and moved back to Stratford. So it's of course speculation because we don't have like Shakespeare's personal diaries or anything to tell us about that. But the contemporary account does say that one man's breeches got on fire, but fortunately he was able to put it out with a beer.
I would have thought the alcohol would have made it worse.
Well, maybe they had pretty low alcohol content.
Fire. Now, that's scary. I mean, the naughty bits could have been singed.
Yeah.
Oh, I have just added to my collection a BBC radio recording of Thomas Middleton's play A Mad World, My Masters.
Wow.
Which, if anybody wants a copy of, just let me know and I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Because that one isn't performed very often.
That's awesome.
Actually, Tony, I would love it.
Me too.
Okay, just send me an email and I'll make sure it gets to you.
Okay, great. We'll do.
Thank you.
We might consider doing that one sometime as a Zoom.
Yeah.
My thoughts exactly.
Especially since it's a radio. It's a radio play, or you have a production that was done on radio?
No, this was done for BBC Radio.
It couldn't be a radio play. What am I talking about?
No, I'm talking. The original play was a stage play, but it was adapted for radio back in 1983, I believe.
May even be on YouTube. That recording.
No, it's. I don't think I looked. It's not there.
It isn't. Okay. There's a lot of There's a lot of BBC on YouTube.
I was telling Paul the other night, for a Father's Day present, my wife and daughter gave me a turntable. And so I spent several hours earlier this week pulling up the LPs that I have remaining in my collection, most of which are actually a complete set of the Caedmon Shakespeare series and other plays. So I've got a whole pile of Shakespeare plays here with, all the great and good of the 1950s and 60s to go through. So I'm actually quite excited about. I haven't heard these things for well over 30 years.
And you worked with some of these folk.
I did.
Excellent.
Well, yeah. Although I have to say, I mean, some of them are quite interesting. There is a Charles Lawton Julius Caesar, for example.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's fascinating. I mean, it's interesting because what I was thinking one could do, technologically, is put Charles Lawton's Julius Caesar together with Orson Welles.
Yeah.
Is he playing the title character or somebody else?
Oh no, Charles Lawton is playing every character.
A one-man show?
Yeah,
wow.
I might need to see that.
Yes.
That wouldn't surprise me.
One LP. Orson Welles at least only plays two characters. I see Mark Antony and Cassius.
Plays Mark Antony and Cassius?
Yes. Haven't you ever heard it? I think that might be available.
Doesn't he talk to himself?
YouTube.
Don't they have scenes together?
Just one scene. That's confrontation between the two army commanders
Yeah.
just before the final battle of Philippi.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that the version is rather cut, Stephen. I think I have that on CD somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I have it on CD as well.
If it was done for radio, it was definitely cut.
Yeah, it was definitely cut. Yeah, it was the Mercury Theater, I think.
Yeah,
But
but
the
not,
other one that was
not
actually really
recently.
good.
The standard practice was that Radio 3 would broadcast the classics in their entirety, 2.5, 3 hours.
Well, we're talking about American radio.
It was American radio.
Well, yeah.
I see the other thing
That doesn't count.
I have actually started listening to is the Orson Welles Moriarty in the Sherlock Holmes series.
Oh, God.
Oh, you mean with John Gielgud as Holmes and Ralph Richardson as Watson?
Yes.
That one is an
Stephen, is that
excellent,
something you can
excellent
send?
version.
Yeah.
Steve, is that something you could send to us?
No, they're on
Available
LP.
everywhere.
Of course not.
That Orson, that Sherlock Holmes you just mentioned.
Yeah,
I
it's,
don't
it's
know. I don't
available
know if
all
it's
over the place.
Oh, damn! I want to hear that.
Go
Okay.
on Internet Archive. You'll find it there somewhere.
Internet Archive.
By the way, if anybody hasn't picked up on it yet, BBC Two broadcast a play by Kelly called Together, which is a lockdown play, and it's absolutely brilliant. With it's basically a two-hander. There's a little kid in it as well, but it's a brilliant piece of writing. Try and catch it on BBC Two.
Who was in that Richard? Who was in that Sherlock Holmes again? Ralph Richardson. Who else?
Ralph Richardson played Watson, Sir John Gielgud played Holmes, and Orson Welles played Moriarty. It was the very last episode of the series.
Yeah, and in fact, if you read the new or the most recent bio or the rewritten biography by Jonathan Grote, there's a photograph of the three of them recording it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we better continue.
Yes.
Do we have to?
Yeah, I'm afraid we curtain is about to rise on the second half.
Well, I have a 20-page break anyway.
Act 3, Scene 1.
Take thy lute. My soul grows sad with troubles. Sing and disperse them, if thou canst leave working.
Orpheus with his lute made trees, and the mountain tops that freeze bow themselves when he did sing. To his music plants and flowers ever sprung as sun and showers there had made a lasting spring. Everything that heard him play, even the billows of the sea, hung their heads and then lay by. In sweet music is such art, killing care and grief of heart. Fall asleep or hearing die.
How now?
And please, your grace, the two great cardinals wait in the presence.
Would they speak with me?
They will me say so, madam.
Pray their graces to come near. What can be their business with me, a poor, weak woman, fallen from favor? I do not like their cunning, now I think on it. They should be good men, their affairs as righteous, but all hoods make not monks.
Peace to your highness.
Your grace, find me here, part of a housewife. I would be all, against the worst may happen. What are your pleasures with me, reverend lords?
May it please you, noble madam, to withdraw into your private chamber. We shall give you the full cause of our coming.
Speak it here. There's nothing I have done, yet my conscience deserves a corner. Would all other women could speak this with as free a soul as I do. My lords, I care not. So much I am happy above a number. If my actions were tried by every tongue, every eye saw him, envy and base opinion set against them. I know my life so even. If your business, seek me out. And that way I am a wife. In out with it boldly. Truth loves open dealing.
Tanta est erga tementis integritas regina segernissima.
Oh, good, my lord. No, Latin. I am not such a truant since my coming as not to know the language I have lived in. A strange tongue makes my cause more strange, suspicious. Pity, speak in English, or some here will thank you if you speak truth. For their poor mistress' sake. Believe me, she's had much wrong, Lord Cardinal. The willing sin I have ever yet committed may be absolved in English.
Noble lady, I am sorry my integrity should breed, and service to his majesty and you, so deep suspicion, where all faith was meant. We come not by way of accusation to taint the honor, that honor every good tongue blesses, nor but to betray you anyway to sorrow. You have too much, good lady. But to know how you stand minded in the weighty difference between the king and you, and to deliver, like free and honest men, our just opinions and comforts to your cause.
Most honored, madam, my Lord of York, out of his noble nature, zeal and obedience, he still bore your grace, forgetting, like a good man, your late censure, both of his truth and him, which was too far, offers, as I do, in a sign of peace, his service and his counsel.
To betray me, my lords, I thank you both for your good wills. You speak like honest men. Pray God he prove so. But how to make me suddenly an answer in such a point of weight? So near mine honor, more near my life I live. With my weak wit, and to such men of gravity and learning, in truth I know not. I was sir at work, among my maids, full little God knows. Holding for each other men or such business, for sake have I been, for I feel the last fit of my greatness. Good your graces, let me have time and counsel for my cause. Alas, I am a woman, friendless, helpless.
Madam, you wrong the king's love with these fears. Your hopes and friends are infinite.
England, but little for any profit you can think, lords, that any Englishman dare give me counsel, or he be a known friend against his highness' pleasure, though he be grown so desperate to be honest and live a subject? Nay, forsooth, my friends, they that must weigh on my affections, they that my trust must grow on, be not here. They are, as all my other comforts, far hence to mine own country, lords.
I would your grace would leave your grace and take my counsel.
How, sir?
Put your main cause into the king's protection. He is loving and most gracious. To be much, both for your honor better and your cause. For if the trial or the law o'ertake ye, you'll part away disgraced.
He tells you rightly.
Tell me what you wish for both, me. Is this your Christian counsel? Out upon ye, heaven is above all set. There sits my judge, that no king can corrupt.
Your rage mistakes us.
The more shame for ye, holy men, I thought ye, upon my soul, two reverend cardinal virtues. But cardinal sins and hollow hearts I fear ye. Mend them for shame, my lords. Is this your comfort? The cordial that ye bring a wretched lady, a woman lost among ye, laughed at, scorned, will not wish ye half my miseries. I have more charity, but say I warned ye. Take heed, for heaven's sake, take heed. Leave at once the burden of thy sorrows full upon ye.
Madam, this is a mere distraction. You turn the good we offer into envy.
You turn me into nothing. Woe upon ye, and all such false professors. Would you have me, if you have any justice, any pity, if you be anything but churchman habits, put my sick cause into his hands that hates me? Alas, he banished me, his bed already, his love, too long ago. I am old, my lords, and all the fellowship I hold now with him is only my obedience. What can happen to me above all wretchedness, and your studies make me a curse like this.
Your fears are worse.
Have I lived this long? Let me speak myself, since virtue speaks no friends. A wife, a true one, a woman, I dare say, without vainglory. Never been branded with suspicion. Have I, with all my full affection, still met the king? Loved him next heaven, obeyed him, been out of fondness superstitious to him, almost forget my prayers to content him, and am I thus rewarded? 'Tis not well, lords. Bring me a constant woman to her husband, one that has dreamed of joy beyond his pleasure, and so that woman, when she has done most, yet will I aid and honor her great patience.
Madam, you wander from the good we aim at.
My lord, I dare not make myself so guilty to give up willingly thy noble title. Your Majesty, wed me. To nothing but death shall e'er divorce my dignities.
Pray hear me.
Would I had never trod this English soil, or felt the flatteries that grow upon it. You have angels' faces, but heaven knows your hearts. What will become of me now, wretched lady? I am the most unhappy woman living. Alas, poor wenches, where are now your fortunes? Shipwrecked upon a kingdom where no pity, no friends, no hope, no kindred weep for me. Almost no grace allowed me, like the lily that once was the mistress of the field and flourished by hiding my head and perish.
If your grace could but be brought to know our ends are honest, you'd feel more comfort. Why should we, good lady, upon what cause wrong you? Alas, our places, the way of our profession, is against it. We are to cure such sorrows, not to sow them. For goodness sake, consider what you do, how you may hurt yourself. I utterly grow from the king's acquaintance by this carriage. The hearts of princes kiss obedience, so much they love it. But to stubborn spirits they swell and grow as terrible as storms. I know you have a gentle, noble temper, a soul as even as a calm. Pray, think us those we profess, peacemakers, friends, and servants.
Madam, you'll find it so. You wrong your virtues with these weak women's fears. A noble spirit as yours was put into you, ever cast such doubts as false coin from it. The king loves you, beware you lose it not. For us, if you please to trust us in your business, we are ready to use our utmost studies in your service.
Do what you will, my lords, and pray forgive me. If I have used myself unmannerly, I know I am a woman, lacking wit, to make a seemly answer to such persons. Pray, do my leave to him, Majesty. He has my heart yet, and shall have my prayers, while I have my life. Come, reverend fathers, bestow your counsels on me. She now begs that little thought that she set footing here. She should have bought her dignities so dear.
If you will now unite in your complaints and force them with a constancy, the cardinal cannot stand under them. If you omit the offer of this time, I cannot promise but that you shall sustain more new disgraces with these you bear already.
I am joyful to meet the least occasion that may give me remembrance of my father-in-law, the Duke, to be revenged upon him.
Which of the peers have uncontemned gone by him, or at least strangely neglected? When did he regard the stamp of nobleness in any person out of himself?
My lord, you speak your pleasures. What he deserves of you and me, I know. What can we do to him, though now the time gives way to us? I much fear. If you cannot bar his access to the king, never attempt anything on him, or he hath a witchcraft over the king in's tongue.
Oh, fear him not. His spell in that is out. The king hath found matter against him that from ever mars the honey of his language. No, he's settled not to come off in his displeasure.
Sir, I should be glad to hear such news as this once every hour.
Believe it, this is true. In the divorce, his contrary proceedings are all unfolded, wherein he appears as I would wish mine enemy.
How came his practices to light?
Most strangely.
No, how?
The cardinal's letters to the Pope miscarried, and came to the eye of the king, wherein was read how that the cardinal did entreat his holiness to stay the judgment of the divorce, for it did take place. I do, quoth he, perceive my king is tangled in affection to a creature of the queen, Lady Anne Boleyn.
Has the king this?
Oh, believe it.
Will this work?
The king in this perceives him, how he coasts and hedges his own way. But in this point, all his tricks founder, and he brings his physic after his patient's death. The king already hath married the fair lady.
Would he add?
May you be happy in your wish, my lord, for I profess you have it.
Now all my joy trace the conjunction.
My amen toot.
All men's.
There's order given for her coronation. Marry, this is yet but young, and may be left to some cares unrecounted. But my lords, she is a gallant creature, and complete in mind and feature, I persuade me. From her will fall some blessing to the land, which shall in it be memorized.
But will the king digest this letter of the cardinal's? The Lord forbid.
Marry, amen.
Oh, no, there be more. Wasps that buzz about his nose will make this sting the sooner. Cardinal Campetus is stolen away to Rome, hath ta'en no leave, has left the cause of the king unhandled, and is posted as the agent of our cardinal to second all his plot. I do assure you the king cried, ha, at this.
Oh.
Now God incense him and let him cry, ha, louder.
But my lord, when returns Cranmer?
He is returned in his opinions, which have satisfied the king for his divorce, together with all famous colleges almost in Christendom. Shortly, I believe, his second marriage shall be published, and her coronation. Catherine no more shall be called queen, but Princess Dowager, and widow to Prince Arthur.
The same Cranmer's a worthy fellow, and hath ta'en much pain in the king's business.
He has, and we shall see him for it, an archbishop.
So I hear.
The packet, Cromwell. Gave it to the king?
To his own hand in his bedchamber.
Looked he at the inside of the paper?
Presently. He did unseal them, and the first he viewed it, he did it with a serious mind. A heed was in his countenance. You he bade attend him here this morning.
Is he ready to come aboard?
I think by this he is.
Leave me a while. It shall be to the Duchess of Alençon, the French king's sister. He shall marry her. Anne Boleyn? No, I'll know Anne Boleyn's for him. There's more in it than fair visage. Boleyn? No, we'll know Boleyn's. Speedily I wish to hear from Rome. The Marchioness of Pembroke?
He's discontented.
Maybe he hears the king does whet his anger against him.
Sharp enough. Lord, for thy justice.
The late queen's gentlewoman? A knight's daughter to be her mistress' mistress? The queen's queen? This candle burns not clear, 'tis I must snuff it, then out it goes. What though I know her virtuous and well-deserving, yet I know her for a spleeny Lutheran, and not wholesome to our cause, that she should lie in the bosom of our hard-ruled king. Again there is sprung up an heretic, an arch one, Cranmer one, hath crawled into the favor of the king, and is his oracle.
He is vexed at something.
Oh, I would with something that would fret the string, the master chord on's heart.
The king.
Piles of wealth, hath he accumulated to his own portion? And what expense by the hour seems to flow from him? How in the name of thrift did he throw this together? Did he rake it together? Now, my lords, saw you the cardinal?
My lord, we have stood here observing him. Some strange commotion in his brain. He bites his lip and stop on a sudden, looks upon the ground, then lays his finger on his temple, straight springs out into the fast gate, then stops again, strikes his breast hard, and anon he casts his eye against the moon in most strange postures. We have seen him set himself.
May well be there's a mutiny in his mind. This morning, papers of state he sent me to peruse as I required, and what I found there, on my conscience put unwittingly, forsooth, an inventory, thus importing the several parcels of his plate, his treasures, his rich stuffs and ornaments of household, which I find at such proud rate that it outspeaks possession of a subject.
It's heaven's will. Some spirit put this paper in the packet to bless your eye withal.
If we did think his contemplation were above the earth and fixed on spiritual object, he should still dwell in his musings, but I'm afraid his thinkings are below the moon, not worth his serious considering.
Heaven forgive me. Ever God bless your highness.
Good my lord, you are full of heavenly stuff and bear the inventory of your best graces in your mind, the which you are now running o'er. You have scarce time to steal from spiritual leisure, a brief span to keep your earthly audit. Sure in that I deem you an ill husband, and am glad to have you therein my companion.
Sir, for holy offices I have a time to think upon the part of business which I bear in the state, and nature does require her times of preservation, which perforce I, her frail son, amongst my brethren mortal, must give my tendance to.
You've said well.
And ever may your highness yoke together, as I will lend you cause, my doing well with my well saying.
'Tis well said again, and 'tis a kind of good deed to say well, and yet words are no deeds. My father loved you, he said he did, and with his deed did crown his word upon you. And since I had my office, I've kept you next to my heart, have not alone employed you where high profits might come home, but pared my present havings to bestow my bounties on you.
What should this mean?
The Lord increased his business.
Have I not made you the prime man of my state? I pray you tell me if what I now pronounce you have found true, and if you may confess it, say withal, if you are bound to us or no. What say you?
My sovereign, I confess your royal graces showered on me daily have been more than could my studied purposes requite, which went beyond all means endeavors. My endeavors have ever come too short of my desires, yet filed with my abilities. Mine own ends have been mine so's, that evermore they pointed to the good of your most sacred person, and the profit of the state. For your great graces heaped upon me, poor undeserver, I can nothing render but allegiant thanks, my prayers to heaven for you, my loyalty, which ever has and ever shall be growing, till death that winter kill it.
Fairly answered. A loyal and obedient subject is therein illustrated. The honor of it does pay the act of it. As to the contrary, the foulness is the punishment. I presume that as my hand has opened bounty to you, my heart dropped love, my power rained honor, more on you than any. So your hand and heart, your brain, and every function of your power should, notwithstanding that your bond of duty, as 'twere in love's particular, be more to me, your friend, than any.
I do profess that for your highness' good, I ever labored more than mine own, that am, have, and will be, though all the world should crack their duty to you and throw it from their soul, though perils did abound as thick as thought could make them, and appear in forms more horrid, yet my duty as doth a rock against the chiding flood, should the approach of this wild river break, and stand unshaken yours.
Nobly spoken. Take notice, lords, he has a loyal breast, for you have seen him open it. Read o'er this, and after this, then to breakfast with what appetite you have.
What should this mean? What sudden anger's this? How have I reaped it? He parted frowning from me as if ruin leaped from his eyes. So looks the chafed lion upon the daring huntsman that has galled him, then makes him nothing. I must read this paper. I fear the story of his anger. 'Tis so. This paper has undone me. 'Tis the account of all that world of wealth I have drawn together for mine own ends, indeed, to gain the popedom and fee my friends in Rome. Oh, negligence, fit for a fool to fall by. What cross devil made me put this main secret in the packet I sent the king? Is there no way to cure this? No new device to beat this from his brains? I know 'twill stir him strongly, yet I know a way, if take right, in spite of fortune, will bring me off again. What's this? To the Pope? The letter, as I live with all the business I writ to his holiness? Nay then, farewell. I have touched the highest point of all my greatness, and from that full meridian of my glory, I haste now to my setting. I shall fall like a bright exhalation in the evening, and no man see me more.
Hear the king's pleasure, Cardinal, who commands you to render up the Great Seal presently into our hands, and to confine yourself to Asher House, my Lord of Winchester's, till you hear further from his highness.
Stay, where's your commission? Lords, words cannot carry authority so weightly.
Who dare cross him, bearing the king's will from his mouth expressly?
Till I find more than will or words to do it, I mean your malice, no, officious lords, I dare, and must deny it. Now I feel of what coarse metal you are molded, envy. How eagerly you follow my disgrace as if it fed ye, and how sleek and wanton you appear in everything may bring my ruin. Follow your envious courses, men of malice. You have Christian warrant for them, and no doubt in time will find their fit rewards. That seal you ask with such a violence, the king, mine and your master, with his own hand gave me, bade me enjoy it, with the place and honors during my life, and to confirm his goodness, tied it by letters patents. Now, who'll take it?
The king that gave it.
It must be himself, then.
Thou art a proud traitor, priest.
Proud lord, thou liest. Within these 40 hours, Surrey durst better have burnt that tongue than age said so.
Thy ambition, thou scarlet sin, robbing this bewailing land of noble Buckingham, my father-in-law, the heads of all thy brothers cardinals, with thee, and all thy best parts bound together, weighed not a hair of his. Plague of your policy! You sent me deputy for Ireland, far from his succour, from the king, from all that might have mercy on the fault thou gavest him, whilst your great goodness, out of holy pity, absolved him with an axe.
This and all else this talking lord can lay upon my credit, I answer, is most false. The Duke by law found his deserts. How innocent I was from any private malice in his end, his noble jury and foul cause can witness. If I loved many words, Lord, I should tell you, you have as little honesty as honor. That in the way of loyalty and truth toward the king, my ever royal master, dare mate a sounder man than Surrey can be, and all that love his follies.
By my soul, your long coat priest protect you. Thou shouldst feel my sword in the lifeblood of the else. My lords, can you endure to hear this arrogance, and from this fellow? If we live thus tamely, to be thus jaded by a piece of scarlet, farewell nobility. Let his grace go forward and dare us with his cap like larks.
All goodness is poison to thy stomach.
Oh, yes, that goodness of gleaning all the land's wealth into your own hands, Cardinal, by extortion. The goodness of your intercepted packets you writ to the Pope against the king, your goodness, since you provoke me, shall be most notorious. My lord of Norfolk, as you are truly noble, as you respect the common good, the state of our despised nobility, our issues, whom if he live will scarce be gentlemen, produce the grand sum of his sins, the articles collected from his life. I'll startle you worse than the scaring bell. Sacring bell, when the brown wench lay kissing in your arms, Lord Cardinal.
How much methinks I could despise this man, but that I am bound in charity against it.
Those articles, my lord, are in the king's hand, but thus much they are foul ones.
So much fairer and spotless shall mine innocence arise when the king knows my truth.
This cannot save you. I thank my memory. I yet remember some of the articles, and out they shall. Now, if you can blush and cry guilty, Cardinal, you'll show a little honesty.
Speak on, sir. I dare your worst objections. If I blush, it is to see a nobleman want manners.
Oh, I'd rather want those than my head. Have at you. First, that without the king's assent or knowledge, you wrought to be a legate, by which power you maimed the jurisdiction of all bishops.
Then, that in all you writ to Rome, or else foreign princes, ego et rex meus was still inscribed, in which you brought the king to be your servant.
Then, that without the knowledge either of king or council, when you went ambassador to the emperor, you made bold to carry into Flanders the Great Seal.
Item, you sent a large commission to Gregory de Casado to conclude, without the king's will or the state's allowance, a league between his highness and Ferrara.
That out of mere ambition you have caused your holy hat to be stamped on the king's coin.
And then, that you have sent innumerable substance, by which means got I leave to your own conscience, to furnish Rome, and to prepare the ways you have for dignities, to the mere undoing of the kingdom. Many more there are, which since they are of you and odious, I will not taint my mouth with.
Oh, my lord, press not a falling man too far. 'Tis virtue, his faults lie open to the laws, and let them, not you, correct them. My heart weeps to see him so little of his great self.
I forgive him.
Lord Cardinal, the king's further pleasure is, because all those things you have done of late by your power legantine within this kingdom fall into the compass of a penury, of a premonitory, that therefore such a writ be sued against you to forfeit all your goods, lands, tenements, castles, and whatsoever, and to be out of the king's protection. This is my charge.
And so we'll leave you to your meditations how to live better. For your stubborn answer about giving back the Great Seal to us, the king shall know it, and no doubt shall thank you. So fare you well, my little good Lord Cardinal.
So farewell to the little good you bear me. Farewell. A long farewell to all my greatness. This is the state of man. Today he puts forth the tender leaves of hopes. Tomorrow blossoms and bears his blushing honors thick upon him. The third day comes a frost, a killing frost, and when he thinks, good easy man, full surely his greatness is a ripening, nips his root, and then he falls as I do. I have ventured like little wanton boys that swim on bladders this many summers in a sea of glory, but far beyond my depth. My high-blown pride at length broke under me, and now has left me, weary and old with service, to the mercy of a rude stream that must forever hide me. Vain pomp and glory of this world, I hate ye. I feel my heart new opened. Oh, how wretched is that poor man that hangs on princes' favors. There is betwixt that smile we would aspire to, that sweet aspect of princes and their ruin, more pangs and fears than wars or women have. And when he falls like Lucifer, never to hope again. Why, how now, Cromwell?
I have no power to speak, sir.
What, amazed at my misfortunes? Can thy spirit wonder a great man should decline? Nay, and you weep. I am fallen indeed.
How does your grace?
Why, well, never so truly happy, my good Cromwell. I know myself now, and I feel within me a peace above all earthly dignities, a still and quiet conscience. The king has cured me. I humbly thank his grace. And from these shoulders, these ruined pillars, out of pity taken a load, would sink a navy. Too much honor. Oh, 'tis a burden, Cromwell, 'tis a burden too heavy for a man that hopes for heaven.
I am glad, your grace. He's made the right use of it.
I hope I have. I am able now, methinks, out of a fortitude of soul I feel, to endure more miseries and greater far than my weak-hearted enemies dare offer. What news abroad?
The heaviest and the worst is your displeasure with the king.
God bless him.
The next is that Sir Thomas More is chosen Lord Chancellor in your place.
Well, that's somewhat sudden. But he's a learned man. May he continue long in his highness' favor and do justice for truth's sake and his conscience, that his bones, when he has run his course and sleeps in blessings, may have a tomb of orphans' tears wept on him. What more?
That Cranmer is returned with welcome, installed Lord Archbishop of Canterbury.
Oh, that's news indeed.
Last, that the Lady Anne, whom the king hath in secrecy long married, this day was viewed in open as his queen, going to chapel. And the voice is now onely about her coronation.
There was the weight that pulled me down. Oh, Cromwell, the king has gone beyond me. All my glories in that one woman I have lost forever. No son shall ever usher forth mine honors, or gild me again the noble troops that waited upon my smiles. Go, get thee from me, Cromwell. I'm a poor fallen man, unworthy now to be thy lord, thy master. Seek the king. That son, I pray, may never set. I have told him what and how true thou art. He will advance thee. Some little memory of me will stir him. I know his noble nature. Not to let thy hopeful service perish too. Good Cromwell, neglect him not. Make use now and provide for thine own future and safety.
Oh, my lord, must I then leave you? Must I needs forego so good, so noble, so true a master? Bear witness, all that I have not hearts of iron, with what a sorrow Cromwell leaves his lord. The king shall never have the king shall have my service, but my prayers forever and forever shall be yours.
Cromwell, I did not think to shed a tear in all my miseries, but thou hast forced me, out of thy honest truth, to play the woman. Let's dry our eyes, and thus far hear me, Cromwell. And when I am forgotten, as I shall be, and sleep in dull cold marble where no mention of me must be heard of, say I taught thee. Say Wolsey, that once trod the ways of glory and sounded all the depths and shoals of honor, found thee a way out of his wrack to rise in, a sure and safe one, though my master missed it. Mark but my fall, and that ruined me, Cromwell. I charge thee, fling away ambition. By that sin fell the angels. How can man then, the image of his maker, hope to win by it? Love thyself last. Cherish those hearts that hate thee. Corruption wins not more than honesty. Still in thy right hand carry gentle peace to silence envious tongues. Be just and fear not. Let all the ends thou aimst at be thy countries, thy gods, and truths. Then, if thou fallest, O Cromwell, thou fallest a blessed martyr. Serve the king, and prithee lead me in, there take an inventory of all I have to the last penny. 'Tis the king's. My robe and my integrity to heaven is all I dare now call mine own. Oh, Cromwell, Cromwell, had I but served my God with half the zeal I served my king, he would not in mine age have left me naked to mine enemies.
Good sir, have patience.
So I have. Farewell the hopes of court. My hopes in heaven do dwell.
You are well met once again.
So are you.
You come to take your stand here and behold the Lady Anne pass from her coronation?
It is all my business. At our last encounter, the Duke of Buckingham came from his trial.
It is very true, but that time offered sorrow. This, gentle joy.
It is well. The citizens, I am sure, have shown at full their royal minds, as let them have their rights. They're ever forward in celebration of this day with shows, pageants, and sights of honour.
Never greater, nor I assure you, you bad taken, sir.
May I be bold to ask what that contains, that paper in your hand?
Well, 'tis the list of those that claim their offices this day by custom of the coronation. The Duke of Suffolk is the first and claims to be High Steward. Next, the Duke of Norfolk, he to be Earl Marshal. You may read the rest.
I thank you, sir. Had I not known those customs, I should have been beholding to your paper. But I beseech you, what's become of Catherine, the Princess Dowager? How goes her business?
That I can tell you too. The Archbishop of Canterbury, accompanied with other learned and reverend fathers of his order, held a late court at Dunstable, 6 miles off from Ampthill, where the princess lay, to which she was often cited by them, but appeared not. And to be short, for not appearance, and the king's late scruple by the main assent of these learned men, she was divorced, and the late marriage made of none effect, since which she was removed to Kilmanton, where she remains now sick.
Oh, alas, good lady. The trumpets sound. Stand close. The Queen is coming.
The order of the coronation. 1, a lively flourish of trumpets. 2, then 2 judges. 3, Lord Chancellor with purse and mace before him. 4, choristers singing, music. 5, Mayor of London bearing the mace. Then Garter in his coat of arms, and on his head he wore a gilt copper crown. 6, Marquis of Dorset bearing a scepter of gold, on his head a demi-coronal of gold. With him the Earl of Surrey bearing the rod of silver with the dove, crowned with an earl's coronet. Collars of S's. 7, Duke of Suffolk in his robe of estate, his coronet on his head, bearing a long white wand as High Steward. With him the Duke of Norfolk with the rod of marshalship, a coronet on his head. Collars of S's. 8, a canopy borne by 4 of the Cinque Ports. Under it the Queen in her robe, in her hair richly adorned with pearl, crowned. On each side of her, the bishops of London and Winchester. 9, the old Duchess of Norfolk, in a coronal of gold wrought with flowers, bearing the Queen's train. 10, certain ladies or countesses with plain circlets of gold without flowers. Exeunt, first passing over the stage in order and state, and then a great flourish of trumpets.
Royal train, believe me. These I know. Who's that bears the scepter?
Marquess Dorset, and that the Earl of Surrey with the rod.
Bold, brave gentleman. That should be the Duke of Suffolk.
'Tis the same, High Steward.
And that my Lord of Norfolk?
Yeah.
Heaven bless thee, thou hast the sweetest face I ever looked on. Sir, as I have a soul, she is an angel. Our king has all the Indies in his arms and more, and richer when he strains that lady. I cannot blame his conscience.
They that bear the court of honor over her are 4 barons of the Cinque Port.
Those men are happy, and so are all our nearer. I take it she that carries up the train is that old noble lady, Duchess of Norfolk.
It is, and all the rest are countesses.
The cornets say so. These are stars indeed, and sometimes falling ones. No more of that.
God save you, sir. Where have you been broiling?
Among the crowd in the abbey, where a finger could not be wedged in more. I am stifled with the mere rankness of their joy.
You saw the ceremony?
That I did.
How was it?
Well worth seeing.
Good sir, speak it to us.
As well as I am able. The rich stream of lords and ladies, having brought the queen to a prepared place in the choir, fed off a distance with her, where the Grace sat down to rest a while, some half an hour or so, in which a chair of state, opposing freely the beauty of her person to the people, believe me, sir, she is the goodliest woman that ever lie by a man, which when the people had full view of, such a noise arose as the shrouds make at sea in a stiff tempest, as loud and as many tunes, hats, cloaks, doublets, I think, flew up, and had their faces been loose, this day they had been lost. Such a joy I never saw before. Great-bellied women that had not half a week ago, like rams in the old time of war, would shake the priests and make them reel before him. No man living could say this is my wife there. All were woven so strangely in one piece.
But what followed?
At length her Grace arose, and with modest faces came to the altar, where she kneeled, and saint-like cast her fair eyes to heaven, and prayed devoutly. Then rose again, and bowed to her people. And when the Archbishop of Canterbury, she had the royal makings of a queen. As holy oil, Edward Confessor's crown, the rod, and the bird of peace, and such emblems lied nobly on her, which performed the choir, with which all the choicest music of the kingdom together sung Te Deum. So she parted, and with the same full state packed back again to York Place, where the feast is held.
Sir, you must not no more call it York Place. That's past. For since the cardinal fell, that title's lost. 'Tis now the King's Inn called a Whitehall.
I know it, but 'tis so lately altered that the old name is fresh about me.
What 2 reverend bishops were those that went on each side of the Queen?
Stokely and Gardiner, the one of Winchester, newly preferred from the King's Secretary, the other London.
He of Winchester is no great good love of the Archbishop's, the virtuous Cranmer.
All the land knows that. However, yet there is no great breach when it comes to Cranmer. Will find a friend and will not shrink from him.
Who may that be, I pray you?
Thomas Cromwell, a man in such much esteem with the king, and truly a worthy friend. The king has made him master of the jewel house, and one already of the Privy Council.
He will deserve more.
Yes, without all doubt. Come, gentlemen, you should go my way, which is to the court, and there you should be my guests. Something I can command. As I walk hither, I'll tell you more.
You may command us, sir.
How does your grace?
Oh, Griffith, sick to death. My legs like loaden branches bow to the earth, willing to leave this burden. Reach a chair, so now methinks I feel a little ease. Didst thou not tell me, Griffith, as thou leadst me, that the great child of honor, Cardinal Wolsey, was dead?
Yes, madam. But I think your grace, out of the pain you suffered, gave no ear to it.
Pretty good Griffith, tell me how he died. If well, he stepped before me happily for my example.
Well, the voice goes, madam, for after the stout Earl Northumberland arrested him at York and brought him forward as a man sorely tainted to his answer, he fell sick suddenly and grew so ill he could not sit his mule.
Alas, poor man.
At last, with easy roads, he came to Leicester, lodged in the abbey, where the Reverend Abbot, with all his convent, honorably received him, to whom he gave these words: "O Father Abbot, an old man, broken with the storms of state, is come to lay his weary bones among ye. Give him a little earth for charity." So went to bed, where eagerly his sickness pursued him still. And 3 nights after this, about the hour of 8, which he himself foretold should be his last, full of repentance, continual meditations, tears, and sorrows, he gave his honors to the world again, his blessed part to heaven, and slept in peace.
So may he rest, his faults be gently on him. Yes, thus, fair Griffith, give me leave to speak to him, and yet with charity. He was a man of unbounded stomach, ever ranking himself with princes. One that by suggestion tied all the kingdom. Simony was fair play. His own opinion was the law. The presence that would say untruths and be ever double both in his words and meaning. He was never, but where he meant to ruin, pitiful. His promises were as he was then, mighty, but his performance as it is now, nothing. Of his own body he was ill and gone. The clergy ill example.
Noble madam, men's evil manners live in brass. Their virtues we write in water. May it please your highness to hear me speak as good now?
Yes, good Griffith, I were malicious else.
This cardinal, though from an humble stock, undoubtedly was fashioned to much honor. From his cradle he was a scholar and ripe and a good one, exceedingly wise, fair-spoken and persuading, lofty and sour to them that loved him not, but to those men who that sought him, sweet as summer. And though he was unsatisfied in getting, which was a sin, yet in bestowing, madam, he was most princely. Ever witness for him those twins of learning that he raised in you, Ipswich and Oxford, one of which fell with him, unwilling to outlive the good that did it. The other, though unfinished, yet so famous, so excellent in art, and still so rising, that Christendom shall ever speak his virtue. His overthrow heaped happiness upon him, but then, and not till then, he felt himself and found the blessedness of being little, and to add greater honors to his age than man could give him. He died, fearing God.
After my death, I wish no other herald, no other speaker of my living actions to keep mine honor from corruption, but such an honest chronicler as Griffith, whom I most hated living. Thou hast made me, with thy religious truth and modesty, now in his ashes honor. Peace be with him, patience be near me still, and set me lower. I have not long to trouble thee, good Griffith. Cause the musicians play me that sad note. I named my knell while I sat meditating on that celestial harmony I go to.
She's asleep. Good wench, let's sit down quiet, for fear we wake her. Softly, gentle Patience.
The vision. Enter solemnly, tripping one after another, 6 personages clad in white robes, wearing on their heads garlands of bays and golden vizards on their faces, branches of bays or palm in their hands. They first conjure unto her, then dance, and at certain changes, the first two hold a spare garland over her head, at which the other four make reverent curtsies. Then the two that held the garland deliver the same to the other next two, who observe the same order in their changes, and holding the garland over her head. Which done, they deliver the same garland to the last two, who likewise observe the same order. At which, as it were by inspiration, she makes in her sleep signs of rejoicing, and holdeth up her hands to heaven. And so, in their dancing, vanish, carrying the garland with them. The music continues.
Spirits of peace, where are ye? Are ye all gone? And leave me here in wretchedness behind ye?
Madam, we are here.
If it is not you I call for. Sure ye come enter since I slept?
None, madam.
No. Saw you not even now a blessed troop? Inside me to a banquet, whose bright faces cast thousand beams upon me, like the sun. It promised me eternal happiness, and brought me garlands, Griffith, which I feel I am not worthy yet to wear. I shall assuredly.
I am most joyful, madam. Such good dreams possess your fancy.
Bid the music leave. They are harsh and heavy to me.
Do you note how much her grace is altered on the sudden? How long her face is drawn, how pale she looks, and of an earthy cold. And mark her eyes.
She is going, wench. Pray, pray.
Oh, heaven comfort her.
And it like your grace?
You are a saucy fellow. Deserve we no more reverence?
You are to blame, knowing she will not lose her wonted greatness to use so rude behavior. Go to, kneel.
I humbly do entreat your highness pardon. My haste made me unmannerly. There is staying a gentleman sent from the king to see you.
Meet him entrance, Griffith. But this fellow, let me ne'er see again. If my sight fade now, you should be Lord Ambassador from the Emperor, my royal nephew, and your name, capacious.
Madam, the same, your servant.
Oh, my lord, the times and tides now are altered strangely with me, since you first knew me. But I pray you, what is your pleasure with me?
Noble lady, first mine own service to your grace, the next the king's request that I would visit you, who grieves much for your weakness, and by me sends you his princely commendations, and heartily entreat you take good comfort.
Oh, my good lord, that comfort comes too late. It's like a pardon after execution. A gentle physic given in time have cut me, but now I am past all comforts hence. But prayers, how does his highness?
Madam, in good health.
You, may he ever be, and ever flourish when I shall dwell with worms, and my poor name banish the kingdom. Patience is that letter I caused you write you, yet sent away?
No, madam.
Sir, I most humbly pray you to deliver this to my lord, the king.
Oh, most willing, madam.
In which I have commended to his goodness. Now that our chaste loves his young daughter, the juice of heaven fell thick in teaching him to give her virtue. She is young and of a noble, modest nature. I hope she will deserve well and a little to love her for her mother's sake. That loved him, heaven knows how dearly. My next poor petition is that noble grace would have some pity upon my wretched women that so long mine fellow of at my fortunes. faithfully, of which these are now cited. I dare, and now I should not lie, but will deserve, for virtue and true beauty of the soul, for honesty and decent carriage, a right good husband. Let him be a noble, and sure these men are happy they shall have them. The last is for my men. They are the poorest, but poverty shall never draw them from me. They may have their wages duly paid them, and something ever to remember by, if heaven have pleased to have given me longer life and able means, we had not parted thus. These are the whole contents, and good my lord, be that you love the dearest in this world, so you wish Christian peace to souls departed, stand these poor people's friend, and urge the king to do me this last right.
By heaven, I will, or let me lose the fashion of a man.
I thank you, honest Lord. Remember me and all humblest to his highness. Say his long trouble now is passing. When out of his world, tell him in death, I blessed him. Out of this world, tell him in death, I blessed him, for so I will with mine eyes dim. Farewell, my Lord Griffith, farewell. Say, patience, you must not leave me while. Call in, mine women, when I am dead, good wench, let me be used with honor. Strew me over with maiden flowers, that all the world may know I was a chaste wife to my grave. Embalm me, then be forth, although unqueened, yet life a queen, and daughter to a king. Enters this, I can no more.
It's 1 o'clock, boy, is it not?
It had struck.
These should be hours for necessities, not for delights. Time to repay our nature with comforting repose, and not for us to waste these times. Good hour of night, Sir Thomas, whether so late?
Came you from the king, my lord?
I did, Sir Thomas, and left him at Primero with the Duke of Suffolk.
Well, I must do him too before he go to bed. I'll take my leave.
Not yet, Sir Thomas Lovell. What's the matter? Seems you are in haste, and if there be no great offence belongs to it, give your friend some touch of your late business. Affairs that walk, as they say spirits do, at midnight, have in them a wilder nature than the business that seeks dispatch by day.
My lord, I love you, and does command a secret to your ear, much weightier than this work. The queen's in labour, they say, in great extremity, and feared she'll with the labour end.
The fruit she goes with, I pray for heartily, that it may find a good time and live. But for the stock, Sir Thomas, I wish it grubbed up now.
Methinks I could cry thee amen, and yet my conscience says she's a good creature, and sweet lady does deserve our better wishes.
Sir, hear me, Sir Thomas. You're a gentleman of mine own way. I know you are wise, religious, and let me tell you, it ne'er be well, 'twill not, Sir Thomas Lovell, take of me, till Cranmer, Cromwell, her two hands, and she sleep in their graves.
No, sir, you speak of two the most remarked of the kingdom. As for Cromwell, beside that of the jewel house, is made master of the rolls, and the king's secretary. Further, sir, stands in the gap and trade of mo preferments, with which the lime will load him. The archbishop is the king's hand and tongue, and who dare speak one syllable against him?
Yes, Yes, Sir Thomas. There are that dare, and I myself have ventured to speak my mind of him. And indeed this day, sir, I may tell you, I think I have incensed the lords of the council that he is, for so I know he is, they know he is, a most arch heretic, a pestilence that does infect the land, with which they mood have broken with the king, who hath so far given ear to our complaint of his grace and princely care, foreseeing those fell mischiefs. Our reasons laid before him hath commanded tomorrow morning to the council board he be convented. He's a rank weed, Sir Thomas,
No.
and we must root him out. For your affairs I hinder you too long. Good night, Sir Thomas.
Many good nights, my lord. I rest your servant.
Charles, I will play no more tonight. My mind's not on it. You're too hard for me.
Sir, I never did win of you before.
But little Charles, nor shall I not when my fancy's on my play. Level, from the Queen, what's the news?
I could not personally deliver to her what you commanded me, but by her woman I sent your message, who returned her thanks in the great humblestness, and desired your highness most heartily to pray for her.
What sayest thou, huh? To pray for her? Is she crying out?
Well, so said her woman, and that her sufferance made almost each pang a death.
Alas, good lady.
God safely quit her of her burthen, and with gentle travail to the gladding of your highness with an air.
'Tis midnight, Charles. Prithee to bed, and in thy prayers remember the state of my poor queen. Leave me alone, for I must think on that which company would not be friendly to.
I wish your highness a quiet night, and my good mistress will remember in my prayers.
Charles, good night. Well, sir, what follows?
Sir, I have brought my lord Archbishop as you commanded me.
Huh? Canterbury?
Aye, my good lord.
'Tis true. Where is he, Denny?
He attends your highness' pleasure.
Well, bring him to us.
Well, this is about that which the bishop spake. I am happily come hither.
Avoid the gallery. Huh? I've said, be gone. What?
I am fearful. Wherefore frowns he thus? 'Tis his aspect of terror, all's not well.
How now, my lord? You do desire to know whereof I sent for you.
It is my duty to attend your highness' pleasure.
Pray you arise, my good and gracious lord of Canterbury. Come, you and I must walk a turn together. I have news to tell you. Come, give me your hand. Oh, good my lord, I grieve at what I speak, and I am right sorry to repeat what follows. I have, and most unwillingly of late, heard many grievous, I do say, my lord, grievous complaints of you, which being considered have moved us and our council, that you shall this morning come before us, where I know you cannot with such freedom purge yourself, but that till further trial in those charges which will require your answer, you must take your patience to you, and be well contented to make your house our tower. You, a brother of us, it fits we thus proceed, or else no witness would come against you.
I humbly thank your highness, and am right glad to catch this good occasion most throughly to be winnowed, where my chaff and corn shall fly asunder. For I know there's none stands under a more calumnious tongues than I myself, poor man.
Stand up, good Canterbury. Thy truth and thy integrity is rooted in us, thy friend. Give me thy hand, stand up. Prithee, let's walk. Now, by my holy dam, what manner of man are you? My lord, I look, you would have given me your petition that I should have ta'en some pains to bring together yourself and your accuser, and to have heard you without hindrance further.
A most dread liege, the good I stand on is my truth and honesty. If they shall fail, I with mine enemies will triumph o'er my person, which I weigh not, being of those virtues vacant. I fear nothing what can be said against me.
Know you not how your state stands of the world, with the whole world? Your enemies are many, and not small. Their practices must bear the same proportion, and not ever the justice and the truth of the question carries the due of the verdict with it. At what ease might corrupt minds procure knaves as corrupt to swear against you? Such things have been done. You are potently opposed, and with a malice of as great size. Ween you of better luck, I mean in perjured witness, than your master, whose minister you are, while here he lived upon this naughty earth? Go to, you take a precipice for no leap of danger, and woo your own destruction.
God and your mercy protect mine innocence, or I fall into the trap that is laid for me.
Be of good cheer. They shall no more prevail than we give way to. Keep comfort to you, and this morning see you do appear before them. If they shall chance in charging you with matters to commit you the best persuasions to the contrary, fail not to use, and with what vehemency the occasion shall instruct you. If entreaties will render you no remedy, this ring, deliver to them, and your appeal to us there make before him. Look, the good man weeps. He's honest on mine honor. God-blessed mother, I swear he's true-hearted and a soul none better in my kingdom. Now get you gone and do as I have bid you. He has strangled his language in his tears.
Come back. What mean you?
Come back. The tidings that I bring will make my boldness manners. Now, good angels, fly o'er thy royal head and shade thy person under their blessed wings.
Now by thy looks I guess thy message. Is the queen delivered? Say aye, and of a boy.
Aye, my liege, and of a lovely boy. The God of heaven both now and ever bless her. 'Tis a girl, promises boys hereafter. Sir, your queen desires your visitation, and to be acquainted with this stranger. 'Tis as like you as cherry is to cherry.
Give her 100 marks. Out to the queen.
100 marks? By this light I'll have more. An ordinary groom is for such a payment. I will have more scolded out of him. Said I for this, the girl was like to him? Ha! I'll have more, or else unsay it. And now, while 'tis hot, I'll put it to the issue.
I hope I am not too late, and yet the gentleman that was sent to me from the council prayed me to make great haste. All fast? What means this? Oh, who waits there? Sure you know me.
Yes, my lord, but yet I cannot help you.
Why?
Your grace must wait until you be called for.
So?
This is a peer of malice, and I'm glad I came this way so happily. The king shall understand it presently.
'Tis but the king's physician, as he passed along, how earnestly he cast his eyes upon me. Pray heaven he sound not my disgrace. For certain this is of a purpose laid by some that hate me. God turn their hearts. I never sought their malice to quench mine honor. They would shame to make me wait else at the door, a fellow counsellor, monks' boys, grooms, and lackeys. But their pleasures must be fulfilled, and I attend with patience.
I'll show your grace the strangest sight.
What's that, Butts?
I think your highness saw this many a day.
Body of me, where is it?
There, my lord, the high promotion of his grace of Canterbury, who holds his state adore amongst perceivants, pages, and footboys.
Aha! Is he indeed? Is this the honor they do one another? Well, 'tis well there's one above him yet. I had thought they had parted so much honesty among them, at least good manners, as not thus to suffer a man of his place, and so near our favor to dance attendance on their lordships' pleasures, and at the door too, like a post with packets. By Holy Mary, Butts, there's knavery. Let him alone. Draw the curtain close. We shall hear more anon.
Speak to the business, Mr. Secretary. Why are we met in council?
Please, your honors, the chief cause concerns His Grace of Canterbury.
Has he had knowledge of it?
Yes.
Who waits there? Without me, noble lords.
Yes.
My lord Archbishop, and has done half an hour to know your pleasures.
Let him come in.
Your grace may enter now.
My good Lord Archbishop, I'm very sorry to sit here at this present and behold that chair stand empty. But we all are men in our own natures, frail and capable of our flesh. Few are angels, out of which frailty and want of wisdom, you, that best should teach us, have misdemeaned yourself, and not a little. Toward the king first, then his laws, in filling the whole realm by your teaching, and your chaplains, for so we are informed, with new opinions diverse and dangerous, which are heresies, and not reformed, may prove pernicious.
Which reformation must be sudden too, my noble lords. For those that tame wild horses, pace 'em not in their hands to make 'em gentle, but stop their mouths with stubborn bits and spur 'em till they obey the manage. If we suffer out of our easiness and childish pity to one man's honor, this contagious sickness, farewell all physic. And what follows then? Commotions, uproars with a general taint of the whole state, as of late days our neighbors the Upper Germany can dearly witness, yet freshly pitted in our memories.
My good lords, hitherto in all the progress of both of my life and office I have labored, and with no little study, that my teaching and the strong courts of my authority might go one way and safely, and the end was ever to do well. Nor is there living, I speak it with a single heart, my lords, a man that more detests, more stirs against, both in his private conscience and his place, defacers of a public peace than I do. Pray heaven the king may never find a heart with less allegiance in it, men that make envy and crooked malice nourishment, dare bite the best. I do beseech your lordships that in this case of justice, my accusers, be what they will, may stand forth face to face and freely urge against me.
Nay, my lord, that cannot be. You are a counselor, and by that virtue no man dare accuse you.
My lord, because we have business of more moment, we will be short with you. 'Tis his highness' pleasure and our consent for better trial of you. From hence you be committed to the Tower, where being but a private man again, you shall know many dare accuse you boldly. More than I fear you are provided for.
Oh, my good Lord of Winchester, I thank you. You are always my good friend. If your will pass, I shall find both your lordship judge and juror. You are so merciful. I see your end. 'Tis my undoing. Love and meekness, Lord, become a churchman better than ambition. Win straying souls with modesty again, cast none away, that I shall clear myself, lay all the weight you can upon my patience. I make as little doubt as you do conscience in doing daily wrongs. I could say more, but reverence to your calling makes me modest.
My lord, you are sectary. That's the plain truth. Your painted gloss discovers to men that understand you words and weakness.
My lord of Winchester, you are a little by your good favor too sharp. Men so noble, however faulty, yet should find respect for what they have been. 'Tis a cruelty to load a falling man.
Oh, good Monsieur Secretary, I cry your honor mercy. You may worst of all this table say so.
Why, my lord?
Do not I know you are a favorer of this new sect? You are not sound.
Not sound?
Not sound, I say.
Would you were half so honest, men's prayers then would seek you, not their fears.
I shall remember this bold language.
Do. Remember your bold life, too.
This is too much. Forbear, for shame, my lords.
I have done.
And I.
Then thus for you, my lord, it stands agreed, I take it by all voices, that forthwith you be conveyed to the Tower a prisoner, there to remain till the king's further pleasure be known unto us. Are you all agreed, lords?
We are.
Is there no other way of mercy? But I must needs to
20124388829.
Must I needs to the tower, my lords?
What other would you expect? You are strangely troublesome. Let some other guard be ready there.
For me? Must I go like a traitor thither?
Receive him and see him safe in the tower.
Stay. Good, my lords. I have little yet to say. Look there, my lords. By virtue of that ring, I take my cause out of the grips of cruel men and give it to a most noble judge, the king, my master.
This is the king's ring.
'Tis no counterfeit.
'Tis the right ring, by heaven. I told you all when we first put this dangerous stole a-rolling, 'twould fall upon ourselves.
Do you think, my lords, the king will suffer but the little finger of this man to be vexed?
Is now too certain. How much more is his life in value with him? I were fairly out on it.
My mind gave me in seeking tales and informations against this man, whose honesty the devil and his disciples onely envy at. Ye blew the fires that burns ye. Now have at ye.
Dread sovereign, how much are we bound to heaven in daily thanks that gave us such a prince? Not only good and wise, but most religious, one that in all obedience makes the church the chief aim of his honor, and to strengthen the holy duty out of dear respect, his royal self in judgment comes to hear the cause betwixt her and this great offender.
You were ever good at sudden commendations, Bishop of Winchester. But no, I come not to hear such flattery now, and in my presence they are too thin and base to hide offenses to me you cannot reach. You play the spaniel and think with wagging of your tongue to win me. But whatsoe'er thou takest me for, I'm sure thou hast a cruel nature and a bloody. Good man, sit down. Now let me see the proudest he that dares most but wag his finger at thee. By all that's holy, he had better starve, than but once think his place becomes thee not.
No, may it please your grace.
No, sir, it does not please me. I had thought I had had men of some understanding and wisdom of my counsel, but I find none. Was it discretion, lords, to let this man, this good man, few of you deserve that title, this honest man, wait like a lowsy footboy at chamber door, and one as great as you are? Why, what a shame was this. Did my commission bid you so far forget yourselves? I gave you power, as he was a counselor, to try him, not as a groom. There's some of you I see more out of malice than integrity would try him to the utmost. Had you mean which you shall never have while I live?
Thus far, my most dread sovereign, may it like your grace to let my tongue excuse all. What was purposed concerning his imprisonment was rather, if there be faith in men, meant for his trial and fair purgation to the world than malice, I'm sure, in me.
Well, my lords, respect him, take it, and use him well. He's worthy of it. I will say thus much for him. If a prince may be beholding to a subject, I am for his love and service, so to him. Make me no more ado, but all embrace him. Be friends, for shame, my lords. My lord, be friends, for shame, my lords. My lord of Canterbury, I have a suit which you must not deny me. That is a fair young maid that yet wants baptism. You must be godfather and answer for her.
The greatest monarch now alive may glory in such an honor. How may I deserve it that I'm a poor and humble subject to you?
Come, come, my lord, you'd spare your spoons. You shall have two noble partners with you, the old Duchess of Norfolk and Lady Marcus Dorset. Will these please you? Once more, my lord of Winchester, I charge you, embrace and love this man.
With a true heart and brother, love, I do it.
And let heaven witness how dear I hold this confirmation.
Good man, those joyful tears show thy true hearts. The common voice I see is verified of thee, which says thus: do, my lord of Canterbury, a shrewd turn, and he's your friend forever. Come, lords, we trifle time away. I long to have this young one made a Christian, as I have made you one, lords. One remain. So I grow stronger, you more honor gain.
You'll leave your noise anon, ye rascals. Do you take the court for parish garden, ye rude slaves? Leave your gaping.
But Mr. Porter, I belong to the larder.
Belong to the gallows and be hanged, ye rogue. Is this the place to roar in? Fetch me a dozen Crabtree staves and strong ones. These are but switches to 'em. I'll scratch your heads. You must be seeking christenings. If you look for ale and cakes, here, you rude rascals.
Pray, sir, be patient. 'Tis as much impossible unless we sweep 'em from the door with cannons to scatter 'em as to make 'em sleep on May Day morning, which will never be. We may as well push against Paul's as stir 'em.
Have they got in and be hanged?
Well, as I know not. How gets the tide in? As much as one sound cudgel of 4 foot, you see the poor remainder could distribute. I made no spare, sir.
You did nothing, sir.
I'm not Samson, nor Sir Guy, nor Colbrand to mow 'em down before me, but if I spared any that had a head to it, either young or old, he or she, cuckold or cuckold maker, let me hope to see you shine again, ne'er, and that I would not for a cow, God save her.
Do you hear, Mr. Porter?
I shall be with you presently, good Mr. Puppy. Keep the door closed, sir.
What will you have me do?
What should you do but knock 'em down by the dozens? Is this more fields to muster in, or have we some strange Indian with the great tool come to court? The women so besiege us. Bless me, what a cry of fornication is at door. On my Christian conscience, this one christening will beget 1,000, and here be father, godfather, and all together.
The spoons will be the bigger, sir. There's a fella somewhat near the door. He should be a brazier by his face. For on my conscience, 20 of the Dognays now reign in his nose. All that stand about him are under the line. They need no other penance. That fire drake did I hit 3 times on the head. 3 times was his nose discharged against me. He stands there like a mortar piece to blow us. There was a haberdasher's wife of small wit near him that railed upon me till a pink porringer fell off her head for kindling such a combustion in the state. I missed the meteor once and hit that woman who cried out, "Clubs!" when I might see from far some 40 truncheoners draw to her succour, which were the hope of the strand where she was quartered. They fell on. I made good my place. At length they came to the broom staff to me. I defied 'em still when suddenly a file of boys behind 'em, loose shot, delivered such a shower of pebbles that I was fain to draw mine honour in and let 'em win the work. The devil was amongst 'em, I think, surely.
These are the youths that thunder at a playhouse and fight for bitten apples, that no audience but the tribulation of Tower Hill or the limbs at Limehouse their dear brothers are able to endure. I have some of them limbo patron, and there they are like to dance these 3 days, besides the running banquet of 2 beetles that's to come.
Mercy of me, what a multitude are here! They grow still, too. From all parts they are coming, as if we kept a fair here. Where are these porters? These lazy knaves. You've made a fine hand, fellows. There's a trim rabble let in. Are all these your faithful friends of the suburbs? We shall have great store of room, no doubt, left for the ladies when they pass back from the christening.
And please your honor, we are but men. And what so many do, not being torn to pieces we have done, an army cannot rule them.
As I live, if the king blame me for it, I'll lay ye all by the heels and suddenly, and on your heads clap round fines for neglect. Your lazy knaves, and here you lie baiting of bombards when you should do service. Hark, the trumpets sound, they are come already from the christening. Go, break among the press and find a way out to let the troops pass fairly, or I'll find a marshalsea shall hold ye play these 2 months.
Make way there for the princess.
You, great fella, stand close up or I'll make your head ache.
You and the chamblet, get up on the rail. I'll peck you o'er the pale cells.
Enter trumpets sounding. Then 2 aldermen, Lord Mayor, Garter, Cranmer, Duke of Norfolk with his martial staff, Duke of Suffolk, 2 noblemen bearing great standing bowls for the christening gifts, then 4 noblemen bearing a canopy, under which the Duchess of Norfolk, godmother, bearing the child, richly habited in a mantle, etc., train borne by a lady. Then follows the Marchioness Dorset, the other godmother, and ladies. The troop pass once about the stage, and Garter speaks.
Heaven, from thy endless goodness, send prosperous life, long and ever happy, to the high and mighty Princess of England, Elizabeth.
And to your royal grace and the good queen, my noble partners and myself thus pray. All comfort, joy in this most gracious lady, heaven ever laid up to make parents happy, may hourly fall on ye.
Thank you, good Lord Archbishop. What is her name?
Elizabeth.
Stand up, Lord. With this kiss, take my blessing. God protect thee, into whose hand I give life.
Amen.
My noble gossips, you've been too prodigal. I thank ye heartily. So shall this lady, when she has so much English.
Let me speak, sir. For heaven now bids me, and the words I utter, let none think flattery, for they'll find them truth. This royal infant, heaven still move about her, though in her cradle, yet now promises upon this land 1,000,000 blessings, which time shall bring to ripeness. She shall be, but few now living can behold that goodness, a pattern to all princes living with her, and all that shall succeed. Saba was never more covetous of wisdom and fair virtue than this pure soul shall be. All princely graces that mold up such a mighty piece as this is, with all the virtues that attend the good, shall still be doubled on her. Truth shall nurse her, holy and heavenly thoughts still counsel her. She shall be loved and feared, for her own shall bless her. Her foes shake like a field of beaten corn and hang their heads with sorrow. Good grows with her. In her days, every man shall eat in safety under his own vine what he plants, and sing the merry songs of peace to all his neighbors. God shall be truly known, and those about her from her shall read the perfect waves of honor, and by those claim their greatness, not by blood. Nor shall this peace sleep with her, but as when the bird of wonder dies, the maiden phoenix her ashes new create another air as great in admiration as herself, so shall she leave her blessedness to one when heaven shall call her from this cloud of darkness, who from the sacred ashes of her honor shall star-like rise, as great in fame as she was, and so stand fixed. Peace, plenty, love, truth, terror, that were the servants of this chosen infant shall then be his, and like a vine grow to him. Wherever the bright sun of heaven shall shine, his honor and the greatness of his name shall be, and make new nations. He shall flourish and like the mountain cedar reach his branches to all the plains about him. And our children's children shall see this and bless heaven.
Thou speakest wonders.
She shall be to the happiness of England an aged princess. Many days shall see her, and yet no day without a deed to crown it. Would that I had known no more, but she must die, she must. The saints must have her, yet a virgin, a most unspotted lily shall she pass to the ground, and all the world shall mourn her.
O Lord Archbishop, thou hast made me now a man. Never before this happy child did I get anything. This oracle of comfort hath so pleased me that when I am in heaven, I shall desire to see what this child does, to praise my Maker. I thank you all. To you, my good Lord Mayor, and you, good brethren, I am much beholding. I have received much honor by your presence, and you shall find me thankful. Lead the way, lords. You must all see the queen, and she must thank you. She will be sick else. This day, no man think has business for his house, for all shall stay. This little one shall make it a holy day.
'Tis 10 to 1. This play can never please all that are here. Some come to take their ease and sleep an act or two, but those we fear we have frighted with our trumpets. So 'tis clear they'll say 'tis not. Others, to hear the city abused extremely and to cry, "That's witty," well, which we have not done neither. That I fear all the expected good will like to hear. For this play at this time is only in the merciful construction of good women. For such a one we showed 'em. If they smile and say 'twill do, I know within a while all the best men are ours, for 'tis ill hap if they hold when their ladies bid them clap. Finny.
Bravo, everybody. Oh, is this a dilly to keep track of all the characters? I'll tell you, as a playmaster, it's it's murder. I suddenly realized that we got to the Porter scene. I hadn't assigned those off-stage comments. I thought, whoops! Oh man. Anyway, well done, everybody.
Thank you.
Hey, Hannah, got your message. I'll liaise with
Great.
Simone and get some stuff to you
Great. Thank
if
you.
you're interested.
Oh, yeah. I'm totally down.
We're the Moliere group.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good
You
job,
guys are doing a
everyone.
taste breaker today.
But that was fun
Moliere
today. Yeah.
group? There's a Moliere group somewhere?
Me.
Yeah, hey, good job, everyone. I
Simon
enjoyed listening to it.
Coonrod.
Good work with this. Just want to let you guys know what's coming up this coming Thursday, July 1st at 7:30. We're doing a reading of Philoctetes by Sophocles that Stephen Brown is play mastering. And next Saturday, we're doing a Midsummer Night's Dream, the Quarto that Jennifer Finger is play mastering. And then the following week will be the Moliere, July 10th, The Miser. So, and more things for July, more things with the Shaw Project, including Misalliance on
The 11th.
what is it? Misalliance on the 11th,
Yeah.
and then there's another one on the 18th,
Sounds good.
I think.
Miss Alliance is on the, look at my calendar. Miss Alliance is on the 11th, I'm pretty sure, yes. Yes, and the following Sunday is Beau Stratagem by Farka.
Yes,
good.
yes.
Yeah.
So,
And for
Are
me,
you
it's the other
interested
one
in
is,
Schiller?
I beg your pardon?
Yes, absolutely. Which one?
Intrigue in Love?
Oh, Cavallo and Fleabag. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Good. Oh, I'd love to do Thursday, Stephen, but I got tickets for a show that night. So
Oh, what are you going to see? What's open in London?
I don't
Yeah.
know. It's also it's the Kiln, I think.
Oh, really?
Well, what used to be the Tricycle, but they're now calling themselves the Kiln.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's North London, in Kilburn.
Cool.
don't
It's
think
good,
I've been to
yeah.
that theater, actually.
It's good.
There's still digital groundling tickets left for the Globe Theater's 12th night in October, I believe, because all
Yeah,
the
but-
other performances sold out.
Yeah, but they're doing crazy stuff.
What's a digital groundling?
I was just going to say the same thing.
Basically, it's streamed to your computer, but you pay the ticket of a groundling, which is
Yeah.
standing in the audience for it.
Do I have to stand?
No, it's streamed to your computer.
What do
I
they do?
understand that, but
And how many groats do you have to pay to do that?
I believe it's £7.50 for a